All right, and just like that, I was now 3 streams in the hole. What is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka MultimediaJay, Late Night Nerd Lounge, coming back. The lava lamp is suddenly not doing anything, even though it's been running for hours. Well, little bit of a cameo here. I've got Vindalia going over on screen number 2. I'm farming drops off her stream, so I got to play 160p, and it's you watch for an hour to get the drop. So what's my percentage at? Let's see, 45%. So I should be able to close that in half an hour. Yeah, there's been some server problems with Elder Scrolls Online lately, and so it's interesting that any streamers can even still do anything with that game. There's a bit of a network hardware issue related to the most recent patch that's been causing all kinds of problems. So hopefully V doesn't ever get stuck in the having to go just chatting because of that stuff. Make sure this thing of CDs doesn't fall over. We don't have any outstanding recap things. We're just gonna farm drops off of this stream here and keep the drinks handy. Then I will very much after this stream, spend the rest of the night being very, very upset with myself that I let myself get 3 streams in the hole and have to set up 3 streams for the long haul now, including the big one that's still under embargo. Yeah, the laundry's finally done. It took a little longer than I thought it would. And so I went onto my community page and I posted what looked like an indication that I'd be playing Needy Streamer Overload on April Fool's Day. But, well, happy April Fool's Day! 1:34 at the Geek House on Friday, April 1st, 2022. A quarter of 2022 is already over. So weep for 2022 going by as quickly as, well, any other year where we're like, holy crap, the year's gone by so darn quick. So yes, the thing I posted on my community page was a misdirect. I was watching Asmongold play Needy Streamer Overload, and he's gonna have he better make a series of recap videos on his Asmongold TV channel about his experience of that game, because I'm telling you, that man is stepping outside his comfort zone. Just goes to show that Needy Streamer Overload can be disturbing to anybody, even professional neckbeards. Whatever. Fire up some music. It's Late Night Nerd Lounge. There is no real order or structure to any of this. We just might have to, whoa. There's a bit of a problem with ear trumpet. Just make sure this is at 7%. Let me change my settings here. Taskbar settings. Show me which icons appear on the taskbar. Please show me ear trumpet, which for some reason turned off. Well, all right, good. I want to see ear trumpet so I can adjust the sound and stuff along those lines. So, while I was doing the laundry, and this is why we're here, I happened to come across TechMoan's video mourning the death of the personal CD player. You know, these things. Or these things. Or anything that you can find on Amazon. He mentioned a couple of things like, there are no top brand CD players left on the market. There are no top brand CD players left on the market. It's all off brands on Amazon. Oh, excuse me, that Commonwealth. It would go something like this. There are no good brands of portable CD players left on the market. They're all off brands over on Amazon. Amazon. It's like putting your car in the garage. All right, stop making fun of the different ways we speak English. We both speak English. But first off, he has a big video about it. TechMoan's the same guy that talked about, cassettes better than you remember and stuff. Every so often, the algorithms recommend me one of his videos, and this one was the latest. The thing is, though, the algorithms are messing with me now because after watching TechMoan's video, I then saw the Kids React video, and yeah, Kids React. Hey, by the way, let's grab the URL for Vindalia so we can have that as our shout out of the day, since I'm farming drop salt while streaming on YouTube. We'll pop that. Let's pop that into Notepad and save that for the end of the stream. There. That'll be our shout out of the day, since we kind of have to after doing something stupid like this. What's my percentage? 51%. We're making some progress. Yeah, so TechMoan. Here's the thing. I saw his video. The algorithm's now messing with me. I've now been introduced to multiple YouTubers, and I saw the kids react video showing little, not Zoomers, too young to be Zoomers, little alphas. That's the generation after the Zoomers. Little alphas, what a portable CD player is, and see those little kids try to figure it out. That was hilarious. A little something for those of you that remember. Oh, the laser's not in the middle. A little something for those of you who remember the unsub the Fine Brothers scandals of the mid-2010s. React Entertainment and that channel, Fine Brothers actually left their own company. So if by wild chance you were still salty about the whole screwball attempt to sell a license for what we now know as React content, that is far enough in the past that the original people that were causing the problem have since left that company, and it's kind of just doing its own thing with the format. It's the birthplace of modern React, if you want to call it that, modern React content, but it's kind of has its own format, though. I really think that even if they'd succeeded in trademarking the React format, that it wouldn't have worked very well in terms of it just wouldn't have worked, because their specific format is different than what's called React content these days. So it's just there's a bit more, shall we say, style to what they do. But after seeing that video, I then saw I started getting introduced to YouTubers through the algorithm who do tech videos about portable CD players. I'm like, oh boy, I've run into the 90s nostalgia side of YouTube now. I'm gonna get videos recommended to me about portable CD players. Somewhere, I think I've already done a video about portable CD players, because I think there's at least one video where I'm holding it like this, which is the way I used to do it in the 90s to not skip as much if the anti-skip on your CD player was kind of crap. It would suck if you dropped it, but when you're on the school bus going over bumps, you kind of got the finger placement correct, so you basically put the tip of your finger around the corners and you just did this, so it was less physical contact with the CD player. So you just did this the whole way home and tried to not have your song get skipped. But even if the anti-skip did its job, if there was a disc spinning in one of these things and it rattled a little too much, there was a risk of a scratch to the label or to the side or something. And I got a couple examples of that in the big pile of CDs right here. But it's interesting, you know, one of the unwritten rules of YouTube. Oh, the lava lamp's doing something now. Cool. One of the unwritten rules of YouTube. Of course, I can just do this. No, I actually can't get the angle right because I'm sitting a little too far out to do that. Just tuck in a little. One of the rules of YouTube, one of the unwritten rules of YouTube, and this is something I explained to my dad back when I was making the washer and dryer video all those years ago. Thank you, mainstream YouTube, for all the going viral and bringing in lots of revenue for my tech projects. So, when I was explaining to my dad why I made that video that I did, he was like, a 33-minute... Actually, no, I sent him the video that inspired me from the man 3441, whatever the heck his name was. Those darn number names, man, so hard to remember. I know he was the man, but he had a number after it. So, hey, there's Dan. I had a CD player. We'll see what the After the Fact crowd says if they even watch this thing. But... So, sorry, I got my last cassette player here, too. It was in the thumbnail of the video I was looking at. So... The thing with this is that somewhere along the line, I know I did a video on this, but now that I've been introduced to an entire scene of YouTubers, I think it's time, you know, it's time we got back to this and, you know, ran the equipment a bit, get the gunk off the buttons, see if the buttons still work, and howdy, folks. Nice little mirror with this fingerprint magnet of a Sony. And just kind of, you know, take a look at some things. So... What do we have here? Open image? No, I'm not trying to save Vindalia's stream as an image. 58%. Yep, farming drops on screen number 2. Vindalia is going to be the shout out of the day because of this. This isn't as good as my video cameras, so I might have to make some videos about this later. Kind of more topical in nature. Put it in the new MultimediaJay vlog, which is my kind of simpler format that I've been tossing around here. Just gotta make an intro for it, similar to, like, you know, what Austin Evans has and some other stuff, or not like Linus Tech Tips. I want this to be really short, or maybe like what Paul's Hardware has. That would probably be the right thing for it. Somehow I got a feeling that this music's too loud. Bring it down to 5 per... Wait, no, don't take it that far down. Let's put it at 5. It's supposed to be super soft. So, our story begins with cassettes, like anything else. Cassettes, of course, were, well, this. My story with CD players is I went to them from cassettes back in high school. I wanted to get into music because what teenager wasn't listening to music? Even to this day, you know, it's just all digital now. The main place to buy music was Strawberries, long gone chain. They were kind of like an ancestor of Fi, which I think is also gone. So Tower Records was still a thing. But back during the heydays of CDs and cassettes, you could go buy a CD for like $18.98 a CD, and maybe only 1 or 2 of the songs would be something you actually wanted. That's one of the reasons why when MP3s and other digital music started becoming a thing, as well as digitizing your CDs with Ripper software, that's why, you know, the whole idea of what music was changed. And there's a lot of pushback from the industry because they knew the jig was up. People would buy singles, not like there weren't singles before, but it was handpicked by the record companies and sold separately as like an extra record or an extra CD with only like 1 or 2 songs on it. You know, so you can get the single and listen to the single and get like a singles collection going. But then when MP3s became a thing, you could make anything, any of your favorite songs a single. So it's just something that the uppity record industry, normally very behind the times on things. Think like they're like the Nintendo of the audiovisual world. That they're cringe at how behind the times they can get. But so yeah, you'd go to Strawberries. You could technically go to Walmart, but if you listen to music with swears in it, Walmart only sold the radio-friendly versions of stuff. So not exactly where you'd want to go. If you listen to like a lot of gangster rap or new metal or Limp Bizkit or something like that. Oh man. So anyways, I was a teenager. I wanted to get into music. My folks were like, no, you're gonna scratch up all your CDs. We're gonna get you tapes first and see if this is just a passing fad because you're in high school. Telling that to a millennial teenager, well, even a Gen X teenager, probably would have gotten them an eye roll. Yeah, I guess, says Dan, I got into music in the 2000s, still have some old MP3s. Trying to get CDs are flack. I basically use the iTunes format. I found out that even the compressed nature of MP3s, fundamentally, I never have totally optimal listening for sound. So if I can't, unless I can hear elements of the compression, it's fine. I don't have a dedicated listening room, and I don't have headphones that are like DJ quality headphones, just this gaming headset. And I do have a set of Sennheisers, but the $100 Sennheisers I have are good for studio stuff. So they make everything neutral. They don't really make anything sound good. They make it sound completely flat. So that's for like recording and stuff. So there isn't some EQ to throw off the process. And then everybody else can adjust it as they wish. But the thing is, my folks, they were wrong so many times about these kinds of things. When I first got into keyboards, they got me a little Radio Shack ConcertMate 575 with kiddie keys that my then teenage fingers could barely fit on, and I was fat fingering all over the place. It took about a year or so before they finally bought what they should have got me in the first place, is one with regulation size keys. This is the second one. I had a ConcertMate 1100. So ConcertMate 1100, but it was Radio Shack quality, not all that great. The keys started breaking after a year. And then guy in my church was using Casios. And this is a chunk of plastic, but it's a chunk of plastic whose keys haven't broken in 1998, 2008, 2018, 2020, almost 25 years. This cheapo Casios keys have not broken, despite me being a lot nastier on these when I was younger. So I was like, doing that like it was a piano. So I worry about them nowadays because plastic, sometimes if it ages, it gets a little more brittle. So I might be getting close to breaking a key if I really get into playing it again. But they were wrong about the keyboards. And they were like, then they were wrong about seat. I mean, I'm going to school in the 90s with a whole bunch of people. Watch that CD stack. It's going to get nasty if it falls over. I'm going to school in the 90s with a whole bunch of people that are walking around with these. They're walking around with these freaking things. So, yeah. They're all walking around with CD players, and I've got like a cassette, like I'm stuck in the 80s. Like, The other thing, too, is the rebuying thing. They could buy me stuff on tape, but then, well, what do we do when we go to CDs? And I still want to listen to the old music. Now we got to rebuy it at 1990s CD prices. So, let's see. Make sure we divide the result by 100 here. Let me just ask the Google speakers here. 1,898 in 1997. Cancel.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Whoops. $19 in 1998 is worth what today? What the heck is she doing? She's looking at stuff. It missed me. $19 in 1998 is worth what today?
On the website in 2013dollars.com, they say $19 in 1998 is equivalent in purchasing power to about $33.07 today.
There you go.
An increase of $14.07 over 24 years.
Round it down.
A little more context?
No, thank you. I got to investigate the latency on those speakers. Anyways, round it down to $33. So can you imagine buying a record? Can you imagine buying an album of something like this where maybe you only like 2 songs on the CD for $33 today? This is why I thought it was wonderful when CDs dropped down to $10 a pop in the 2000s. And then as they became less popular, the prices dropped. So it's just... they're still out there if you want them. You just got to do some digging. But there's just so much digital, and the convenience of digital is just... even YouTube, you know, even YouTube and music and Spotify these days. If there's a song that you just have thing to... if you just have this thing for listening to a certain song, you can actually punch it into YouTube. You can punch it into YouTube and just dial it in. And if you want to find the YouTube audio version, just put topic in under the artist. So if you want a Rihanna song or something, type Rihanna topic, and it'll bring up the YouTube, the content ID listings, which are basically like the old MultimediaJay radio styles. It's a little YouTube trick you can do if you ever want to dial in music, or just use YouTube Music to look it up. It'll probably favor those. But sometimes it plays real music videos when you just want the song. We know that sometimes musicians have extra stuff going on in their music videos. Been going on since the 80s. Yeah, $33. $33 in today's money for one of these, and you might only like 1 or 2 songs on it. So you've paid $33 for this. But because the songs you like weren't the there might be a single, but if it's not the single that you like, and you only like 2 songs, but it's not the single, bam, the equivalent of $33 nowadays. That's man, the 90s, I tell you. But so my dad and my stepmother were skeptical. They're like, start on tapes. I had like 2 tapes. I originally had I think it was a Sony it wasn't a Sony Walkman. That was too nice. I started out with something, let me just say, I started out with a cassette player that you could actually rewind. This only has 3 buttons. You manually open it up to put the tape in. Stop. Which one is which here? Excuse me. Stop. Play, the one that actually sticks down, and fast forward. The only way to rewind is to flip the tape the other way and fast forward it, then flip it back and see if you're in the right spot. Then if you're wrong, rinse, lather, repeat. I don't know why I even have this thing. It sucks. It sucked back in the 90s and it sucks now. This is a, what is the White Westinghouse. I gotta make some videos of this because this camera's manually focused. Or you know what? If you don't mind a spazzy camera, let's put it back on autofocus. I'm kind of surprised that my settings saved like this. So it's gonna get a little spazzy now. It's gonna get a little spazzy, but we should be able to autofocus it. We can get some light into it. There, White Westinghouse. You see what I mean? It's got like super spazzy autofocus. I think it only looks at what's exactly in the middle. Even then, it doesn't keep it there. Okay. So yeah, White Westinghouse. I think it's because I'm moving. There we go. White Westinghouse. You can see it for a second. Cool. Sony CD Walkman for a second. RCA. Put the stupid thing back on manual. This webcam has never had a very good focuser, even though you can do it in software. All right, let's just zoom it in here. I'm actually surprised it saved the settings. I've restarted the computer since the earlier stream. So, yeah, so, right. They did their thing. Yeah, so they were skeptical. And they were proven wrong yet again. I still have, obviously, all these CDs. Some of them go all the way back to my high school days. Don't really listen to them anymore, though. Probably the biggest reason why I'm here, though, is I saw all these CD player videos from all these YouTubers. Now, the algorithm thinks I'm a big CD freak. Let me just go to my front page on YouTube right now and just see if the algorithms are still doing it. MultimediaJay, go to the front page. I bet I see at least one video about CD players. I know, there's a bit of a misdirect up there, wasn't it? About me playing Needy Streamer Overload. Let's see here. Michael Jackson breaks his... Oh, boy. Yeah, the Will Smith memes are all over the place. I guess not. I guess it might be backing off on it a little. But if I look at my history, there was TechMoan's video. Yeah, there was TechMoan's video. I got... Oh, it's the related player. So I basically was taking me off on a tangent. There's a guy, Recordology. Shut up, ad. There was a guy, Recordology, who was reviewing a whole bunch of CD players. How many CD players says? Oh, he does vinyl and turntables too. How many CD player videos does this guy have? He does YouTube Shorts as well. So let's see, a bunch of YouTube Shorts. This guy's really playing his Shorts game for somebody who 23,000 subs with about 1,000 views a video. Sounds about right. The typical one-digit rule. He does have a bunch of CD player videos. Yeah, he has a whole lot of CD player videos. Reviews of various. He also has a lot of reviews of turntables and other audio gear and stuff like that too. There's a whole bunch of stuff. He probably, let me guess, he has a playlist of CD player reviews. Live. He has live streams, Vinyl Nation, Date This Record, history and stuff. Oh, he doesn't have reviews. He doesn't have anything of his reviews. Maybe I'm getting him mixed up with something else. I don't know. I'm just kind of surprised. I mean, the reason why I went down this little rabbit hole on YouTube is because the TechMoan video talked about how the silent death of portable CD players, that you can't find any of them that are decent brands anymore, which is false. I went looking on Amazon. The GPX is Grand Prix Electronics. That's a brand that I recognize from the 90s, and so is Jensen, by the way. Kobe is on there too. Kobe is a zombie brand, but Kobe has always been like the budget Sony. If you went to like a Benny's hardware store here in the Northeast and bought a CD player, it was probably a Kobe instead of a Sony. COBY, look it up on Google if you're curious. Basically, it's Kobe, but they use the Sony font. I'm surprised. I'm guessing because it's Kobe, it wasn't similar enough to be the source of a trademark dispute. But I always preferred to Kobe as poor man's Sony, which is interesting because some people talk about Sanyo like it's poor man's Sony here. So, yeah, well, the thing is, I dance on the grave of portable CD players. Most of the scratches that have damaged my, in today's money, $33 a CD albums were because of these things. It's like, I just can't believe there's nostalgia for portable CD players. It's like, come on, millennials, Gen X. Have you noticed what's happening have you noticed what's gone out with music in the last 25 years? It's great that these things are dead, or they're just like a little $20 curiosity buy that you buy your kids and see if they can figure it out on Amazon from some brand you've never heard of. Unless, of course, it's Kobe, GPX, or Jensen. Those are the three brands I recognize from the 90s on there. So, first off, I mean, Sony getting out of making portable CD players, unless they want to go for nostalgia by making some kind of classic Discman or something, which why would they do that? Or a classic Walkman or something. If they really, wanted to do that, why would they, though? I mean, the thing is, these things sucked. I don't care if you like them. When these were the only thing you could listen to your music, I mean, if you want to listen to them nowadays, it's just good that you have options. I mean, knock yourself out if you want to listen to music on a portable CD player these days, like it's 1997 or something. But the truth of the matter is, these things sucked. These things were the reason why you would scratch up your nowadays $33 CDs. $18.98 was the going rate at Strawberries back then, unless you bought cheaper stuff at Walmart because you listened to stuff that didn't have swears in it. It was fun, though. After the MP3 controversy, I loved it when, especially being a college radio jock using CD gear, I loved it when I was doing my late night metal show. And, the CD prices had dropped down a lot. And Amazon was experimenting with Amazon MP3 at the time. And Amazon basically, if you bought a CD, I think they're still doing it nowadays. If you buy a CD from Amazon, you automatically get the MP3s as part of the purchase thing. Sony still makes Walkmans, I think. Why don't we just take a look at that? I mean, we're down to like one boomboxy thing for a Sony CD player. But let me see here. Amazon. See if it shouldn't try to log me in. I typed AM and it didn't take me straight to Amazon. This browser sucks. Hey, do you want to sign in? No, of course not. I want a neutral browser without using Microsoft Edge. Let's see here. Sony CD player. Let's try Sony CD player. Let me see. A condition is new. It's probably new old stock. Nah, there are no portables. It's all boom boxes, and they still make a DVD player. There's a 5-disc CD changer in here that's allegedly new, but it goes to used $290. So probably I clicked new, so it's kind of a fluke. But Discman is a dead brand. Let's try Sony Walkman and see what happens. So the thing with Walkman is that Sony has used the brand for MP3 players as well. Yeah, 64 gig MP3 player. This is probably a scalper price. Yeah, there was cassette Walkman, CD Walkman, and Sony DEJ 11 portable Walkman CD player discontinued by the manufacturer. So if you want to, where's my scenes here? Oh, that's right. I haven't switched it over yet. Let's flash some Amazon on the screen and brighten things up a bit. Browser mode. It's probably good. It probably would have linked to the wrong thing. See, like this. Sorry, Vindalia. Let's see. There we go. Discontinued by the manufacturer. What is this? This is a scalper price. $284. I think even if you factor out the inflation and stuff. Hey, but if you want a Sony Walkman, you can pay a scalper for it. Yeah, it's just... All right, get out of that. Doodah. Is it trying to link up to something else? Oh no, there's browser mode. All right, let's get rid of it. Can open that back up later. Take a look at a few things. Yeah, they did cassette Walkman, then CD Walkman, then MP3 Walkman, and I think they killed the brand. Now, I could check Sony's website directly and see if they're still using it. I don't think they are. Sony. What? Where's the new tab? Oh, it opened on screen 2. New tab. Take that Google over to here. Sony Walkman. What do I get for results? Oh, MP3 players. Yeah, of course there's still going to be some MP3 What the? Hey, this is crazy. Holy crap, look at this. See here. Browser. Yeah, they're playing the nostalgia. There's a $75 basic Walkman and then a thousands of dollars for these Signature Series Walkman digital music players. So, whoa. And they're out of stock, of course. So, the $75, that's about on par with if Sony, sells the name on top of what I used to get my SanDisk Sanzas for. So, no, this isn't all that interesting. Hey, while we're at it, let's get the music back up top in the corner. Used to always be in the corner. I just moved it for something else. So, yeah. It's still out there. We're talking about CD players here. So, yeah. CD players. I went through a couple of those. First, I had a Sony Discman until the laser died. Then I had a white Westinghouse from Kmart until the lid broke off from too much open and close and stuff like that. Of course, when I was in an electronics shop in high school, I basically got it. I jammed some drafting tape into the thing that the little pin goes into to see that it's open. And I was using it as a turntable. So you can imagine something that looks like a record player in my room spinning CDs because I'm using a CD player with no lid. And sending it through some mini extension cables for mini plugs. all the way from where over by my desk, past the TV, the Nintendo 64, etc., past the clothes bureau, around the corner of the room, into the bookcase, because I took some Radio Shack speakers and stuffed them in the bookcase to get better sound. Bunch of little one-way Radio Shack portable speakers jammed with it between all my books. Gave me some extra bass because the speakers were tinny, and there was bass boost, treble boost in the speakers, so I just turned that on and put them in the bookcase. That was my hi-fi in my room when I was a teenager growing up in the late 90s. Oh, man. It's crazy, man. Eventually, though, my folks caved. So, and anyways, the final CD player I had, and I think I saw an eBay listing for one, the final CD player I had was a Sony Discman. Silver with gold text on it, had like 40-second anti-skip. That sucker, I actually started listening to it again in college, but I found out that unfortunately the belt drive was having problems moving the laser on certain tracks, so I had to get rid of the poor thing. Probably the belt, either the belt or the gear. Was there I don't think there was a belt. But the thing that moves the laser back and forth was starting to have problems moving it back and forth. So a little bit of wear. I mean, these were daily driver devices. And it's just like MP3 players. They're portable devices. They have a lot of wear and tear on them because they're used all the time. So just one of those things. What do we got? 33 sounds about right. No way. Johnny Cash CDs from high school. I have a Frank Sinatra CD in the stack just to show that I have it, even though it's my grandfather's kind of music. Let's see here. When I was playing CDs, I get a system for it, but yeah, no room. I think I was talking about the MP3 players, which still exist on their website. Yeah, $75. I have an Ibasso, but I liked it for the removable battery. It's another thing that's changed. I look on Amazon, there's CD players that take USB. So yeah, you have lithium ion. The problem with lithium ion is it starts losing service life when the battery pack leaves the factory. So if you don't use it, you still lose service life on the battery. So anyways, let's take a look at some of these, shall we? I'll leave the music playing while I'm testing these out. Just want to kind of see, where are they? I don't have any normal headphones anymore. Everything's, whoops, hit a button. As long as it's not the stop streaming button. By the way, what's our status on Vindalia? 96%. We're almost done. I think I'll leave it playing. I think I'll leave it playing anyways and give her a concurrent. I'll just use the lurk command. But so I saw these and I was like, what, that Staples brand headphones on clearance. These look about as bad as the Cost headsets I used to wear that Kmart used to have. Let me just kind of go over these things for all those little zoomers out there. So if you didn't have any anti-skip or anything, or you had like 10-second, 20-second, the way to hold it, of course, was to do this with your fingertips, so that way you minimize the surface contact to try and keep it steady. Think like what cameras have like an auto steady lens or something that we have nowadays. I put some batteries in these things because both of these, of course, take AA's. Nowadays, they'll be rechargeable AA's, so nickel metal hydride on there. Oh, this is the one that works better, so we're going to probably use this one. So, pops open. This is the one I got ripped off. Bought this for $80 at the college bookstore in like 2003 or something, because I saw it and I was like, oh, I haven't listened to a CD. No, I bought this when my other CD player died, and I was like, well, maybe I want to listen to CDs while I'm studying. Pro tip, I didn't. Pro tip, I never actually did. And it was stupid because I had a computer, so CD-ROM drive. If I really wanted to listen to CDs, put them in the CD-ROM, play them through the Eclipse Pro Media 4.1s. Yeah, get the dust out of the subwoofer. Yep. All right, so we have these things. These are on par with the crappy 90s Cost headsets I used to get from Kmart. So it really, I don't actually have any of the original kind with that, or just little like foam over a piece of plastic. It's the ancestor of the earbuds. There was the fluffy ones in the 80s, then there was the flat ones in the 90s. I always remembered, though, anytime you bought a Sony CD player, the matched headphones would always sound better than a lot of other like cheap headsets you could get. The Sonys that came with the CD player would sound better than the Kobe's you could get at Benny's when the Sonys broke. Problem is, I kept breaking headsets because they're plastic. Flex them too much and they eventually break, or do this too much and the thing just comes off the end of the headband. And like folks would be like, what the heck, she's opening crown crates? Come on, V. So you just do all this, Not, I think it lights up when I get the drop too. So, yeah. So you get these, and people, oh, why can't you take Cura stuff? Cause it's plastic. 80s headsets were metal. So, anyways, let's just take a walk down memory lane here. There's volume, either a knob that you spun or up down buttons. Start. There's back and forth buttons. Stop. Play, pause. In this case, it's play forward, and back and forth buttons to skip through tracks on the CD. Pop a CD into your computer and fire up Windows Media Player to see like the digital version of that or something like that. If you even still have an optical drive, otherwise grab like a plug-in drive or something. It's good to have like a plug-in Blu-ray drive if you want to use your computer to play movies. So the CD that I've had at the top of the list is one from high school. Keep in mind, I was involved in what was called the evangelical Christian subculture at the time, where churches were basically trying to get teenagers hooked on like parodies of popular music, so it could stay like, so it wouldn't be, too unfamily friendly and stuff like that. This is Jars of Clay's Much Afraid. This is basically the first CD that I came here. Hey, look what we have here. John Bon Zombie, welcome this evening to Jay's Late Night Nerd Lounge. I saw TechMoan's video about portable CD players, and that's why we're here. I put a little something on my community page about playing Needy, like I was going to play Needy Streamer Overload, but happy April Fool's Day. Yeah, what do we have here? I still have my Sony Sport portable CD player. Yeah, those were the black and orange ones with the rubber coating, so you could drop them while jogging and stuff, and they'd still work. So, I mean, this is a CD Walkman circa early 2000s when my high school CD player finally died. So the drive assembly started screwing up on it. It works perfect. I have a few light-ons. Yeah. See, that's the screwy part, because most of the scratches that would cause your thing to skip in 1990s equipment, computer CD drives don't have a problem with. I mean, I actually have one of my CDs, we'll get to it in the pile, that has a hole in it. And it still plays in the computer. So everything else would skip when it got to the hole, but this thing somehow found a way to interpolate the audio. I have no idea why. Why does it sound perfect when literally the material is gone and you can look through it? Which is why, where's that light that I'm charging? I have a light over there. The light stops blinking, so I'm actually going to take this magnetic work light that I use for my tech videos. I got to do this because the last mode is strobe mode. There we go. Don't want to trigger anybody's reactions to fancy lights. But yeah, this little LED work light's been really useful. It bends 90 degrees and has magnets. So I can actually put this on something metal like a nearby computer case. Just don't put it near the magnetic hard drives, of course. This little thing is pretty handy for extra lighting, and it just kind of does this. So you can have like extra light, neutral white LED lighting. Just put some, I put some magic tape over it to kind of make it not so harsh. Think of it like, like a softening filter or something like that. But yeah. You're going to see a lot of contemporary Christian in here from the 90s because I was involved in a church that was like, only listen to Christian music. I think that's still a thing in the South, but there were multiple like music fads. First there was CCM like this, and then there was when Michael W. Smith had that hugely successful Worship and Worship Again albums in the early 2000s. Everybody started listening to worship music everywhere they go, like they were trying to make life into a never-ending church service. I don't know about that. It's just like sometimes you just gotta leave church in church, especially if your church services are like conventions, because you have stage lights and microphones and all kinds of modern amenities these days. It's the sort of thing where if you do the same thing too much, you eventually get desensitized to it, and it's nothing special. I don't know. I'm thinking of it with a 2020's mind nowadays, but it was different in the early 2000s. So let's see here. Get it? Sometimes the inside of the case would be busted. Jars of Clay was not one of my favorites. A lot of the girls in my youth group liked it, probably because it was the closest thing they could listen to a boy band that they could listen to without their parents getting upset. Yes, put it in here, and then sometimes you couldn't see what you were doing. You took it out, you worried what would happen if you when you took it out, you worried what would happen if you bent the disc too much. Maybe if a record warped and maybe scratch it along the edge or something, or maybe you didn't see what you were doing, or if you were drinking, you were a little drunk and you might have scratched a little putting it in, But of course, this spins. The newer ones would stop when the buffer was full. But this is a persistently spinning one. So you had to wonder if maybe it was hitting the edge or something like that, or maybe it got warped. I'm gonna lose this for a second. It's gonna sound weird. Let's put these crappy things on. I can't hear the sound right now, so hopefully I'm not screwing everything up. But just as kind of a demonstration of how this Sony Discman style one worked. This one was the easier one because it had a latch instead of having to slide something sideways and it got gummed up on you. So let's see. Put these things in. Bada bing. You got the little beep, and you basically did this all the way home on the bus ride home. So it wouldn't skip. There's a bass boost button. And this headset's actually bigger than a lot of headphones that were people wore. A lot of people wore the regular ones that came with it. So it's a thing too. So you have that, and then 2005 or so, I find out about MP3 CDs. And MP3 CDs, you can put more songs on a CDR. So I'm like, why should I risk scratching up my actual albums when I could actually just make MP3 CDs and just do this on shuffle mode? So in 2005, I picked I actually had two of these because I think one of them started acting up and I had to get rid of it. But this is the surviving one. It barely works. It's RCA, if that's even still matters, and it's not a zombie brand. Slider switch to pop it open, and it's a little bit, needs a little bit of oil or whatever. It gets a little sticky these days. Hey, how you doing? Da-da-da-da. Ah, I've scored the drop with Vendalia's stream. Let's go claim that. Another Ouroboros Crown Crate. The second one of this giveaway. Claim now for the global reveal. No, the Gates. What the? What is this for? It's for some event that's going on right now while the servers are crap. So let's see. We want to keep it. We want to keep her stream going. Yeah, I think I'll keep her stream going and just be a lurker. Actually, let me just use the lurk command right now before we continue this. Let me jump into chat here. Lurk. Oh, this doesn't have better TTV. So I have to manually claim my... I gotta install better TTV on this thing. Yeah. Anyways. Ella no sabe. Alright, we'll just, give her the concurrent and whatnot. She has... that matters. Just continue this for the rest of the stream. Alright, let's see here with this sucker here. Yeah, so that's an LCD screen, which helped with MP3s. Couple of, what's this? That's a folder button for navigating folders on the disc. You had to use a certain kind of format, if I remember right. I don't think it was like Sony A-Track or anything, but this slide switch was always a pain. All right, where's that CD? Yeah, and you had to worry about scratching the label on the lids of these things when you took them out. So, I mean, I posted a comment in TechMoan's comment section saying, I danced on the graves of portable CD players. I'm glad these things aren't popular anymore. And I think, the way we did it in the 90s, where you were listening to your albums directly, should never happen anymore. I mean, when you paid the equivalent of $33 in today's money to get per album, you don't want to run the risk of scratching them up to where it would skip all the time. Where's the wire? There we go. Too used to the ones where it goes out through the middle. Let's see here. Plug this. Where's the end of it? Plug this in, and let's listen to this one. Unfortunately, this screen doesn't light up. The other problem is when you push the buttons, it kind of loosens up the top of this thing. Is it going? Oh, there we go. It says reading now. So good luck with these in low light. All right. See, you see blobs of text there. It says reading on it. And because it supports MP3s, it takes a little longer to read the disc. And because... Yep, and then it finally starts playing. And because it's... Pause. Yeah, this is one of those two-handers. It's made to be used like a MP3 player because it's contemporary to the MP3 players. So the buttons were basically set up kind of like typing on a smartphone with two thumbs. My thumbs are a little too fat for that, but... you could definitely work your buttons with this. This is a two-hander. Whereas the Sony Walkman kind's like a one-hander, most of what you would want is here, unless you had to adjust the volume or use the hold switch. So you basically would set the bass and the other stuff to what you wanted, and then mostly be using your right thumb for everything on these to skip tracks, start, stop, things like that. You could even turn on shuffle mode. I always had mine on shuffle repeat all the time, so there'd always be something playing, and I just keep skipping the songs I didn't like. So let's see. This one stopped rattling. Is it still going? No, it's on pause. Play. Why does it say it's... Oh, because the buttons suck. M, I think, is bass. P is bass. I think one of these... Yeah, this is the bass boost button. Pause. Piece of junk. The bass boost on this RCA one is like if you buy like a cyber acoustic subwoofer. So if you buy a cyber acoustic subwoofer and it does like everything below like 80 hertz is bass and it's just boomy. That's what it is. I always found the Sonys to be more refined. Regular playback would always be roughly equal. It was always the bass boost and essentially the EQ through the bass boost that would determine the quality of what you were listening to, aside from the headphones, of course. But the thing is, this cheap RCA one, you hear a lot of squealing noises when it's changing tracks because there's interference when the laser's moving back and forth. So you can actually hear the laser kind of creating electromagnetic EMI interference and stuff, and it makes it onto the audio. So you can hear the laser going back and forth when you change tracks. Or maybe it was on purpose. You never know. Yeah, maybe it was on purpose. And that's too loud. If you're curious about the music, you can probably just type in Jars of Clay, Much Afraid, topic. See if you can find, you probably find all the tracks and listen to it. It's basically what the girls in my church youth group had to listen to because their stuffy parents, prudish parents, whatever, wouldn't let them listen to boy bands. Yeah. Social conservatism in the 1990s, ladies and gentlemen. These were the same people that would actually like articles like there's one called, what is it? Let's see here. What was that called? It's a meme. It's practically a meme nowadays. Yeah, that's what it was called. It was called Religious Rock, the Music of Devils in the Church, making fun of bands like Stryper and stuff. You might even hear some Stryper on an 80s station because some of their biggest hits were actually rather secular sounding. They sounded like love songs. Yeah, you might have heard To Hell with the Devil or Always Here for You or something like that. But yeah, so these girls, they couldn't listen to regular boy bands, but they did this instead, so they could have the song of some, handsome dude singing to them all whiny and stuff. I just got this because it was popular and I wanted a CD to listen to. I quickly found out that this is absolutely not the kind of stuff I wanted to listen to all the time because I wasn't like that. I was a bit more into rock and roll. So I just kept this because this has memories of like the first CD I ever played and stuff. Now, the reason why I got the light is I want to showcase the differences in the scratches between the various generations of CDs that I have. I don't know if I can do that. Hey, it's Winamp. Let me see if I can do that. I don't know if there's any way I can do that, but let's see. Oh, this one's pretty good. There's no way I'm going to get these to show up on camera. I'm going to have to make a YouTube video of them. There's a couple of like circular scratches like this here and there, but they're not that deep. They're not any worse than your average PlayStation game. But then again, this wasn't really all that popular. There's also an enhanced CD. For those of you that don't know, enhanced CDs, maybe you can see this. Nah, I gotta get the lighting just right. Otherwise, I have no chance. No, you can't. It's not going to show up. So enhanced CDs put a computer CD-ROM on the outer edge or the inner edge of a CD. The outer edge ones are more compatible with today's CD-ROM drives. But somewhere in the 90s, I have the original album by a group called Skillet. And whoops, watch the lights. I have the original albums of a group called Skillet. They actually did some more crossover stuff because they sounded a bit like emo in the 2000s. They did a song called Monster, and it sounded kind of like This Animal I Have Become. So they actually were kind of a parody of emo bands of people. There's actually meme videos out there that make fun of them because they sounded too much like emo way back then. There's another band called 7 Day Slumber that I really liked back when I went back to the church after college. So yeah, you've heard of Skillet. They had a couple of crossover hits, especially when the guy's wife, I think, got into the band. This is the original album where it was just the guys singing. So it sounded like a bunch of, guys that had like grade D voices compared to most rock stars. They had heavier guitars, though. I used to say they sounded like a cross between Newsboys and Korn. But yeah, you're going to see a lot of CCM because that's basically what I had in the 90s because that's all I would listen to until I started, coming out of my shell as a senior in high school and I would actually listen to Creed. So I was like, well, there's a little crossover. They sound kind of religious in their lyrics. Like, years later, I found out about Scott Stapp's drinking problem and just... Yeah. The problem with all of this is just this feeling of... The problem with all of this is that fundamentally what you're doing is you're basically in a Weird Al parody of whatever the pop culture is. And I think Weird Al's better at parody than some of this stuff. Here's the one. Any of you folks from Australia that are familiar with Hillsong, this is Youth Alive NSW, a youth-oriented version of it. This is actually a worship album from the late 90s. Of course, Generation X influence with the whole, freaks, for the freaks, by the freaks, something the freaks. There it is. To the freaks, for the freaks, by the freaks. Very, very Gen X. But this is the same organization as responsible for Hillsong nowadays. So this actually has some very good sounding 80s and 90s stuff. It's just their worship songs. The title track Chosen One is one of my favorite worship songs of all time, actually, because it's got a lot of theology in it. Surprising for those days because there was this blur between, stuff that could be used in a service and stuff you would listen to in your car. So that got a lot more pronounced in the 2000s. Of course, the 2000s was also when I went to college and came out of my shell. That's where you start seeing more secular stuff, as well as the stuff I used for my radio show, which would be power and prog metal. Oh, why don't I... Okay, you know what? Why don't I just put this on low mode, try not to put it in strobe mode again, and just put it off to the side when I'm not using it. I'll be a little more lit tonight than usual. Because I don't want to strobe this thing and have someone have a reaction to it. That'd feel terrible if that happened. This actually did clean it off. I'm wearing a very soft shirt, so just a couple of scratches perpendicular to the disc. This one actually came out pretty well, but the thing is, unless that's lint, it's not a smooth surface because of all the little pits and scratches from playing in regular CD players all those years, because there was no MP3 yet. Except for a couple of files here and there because a very crude version of Winamp was making it into the school. We don't have to light these up. Nightwish, Century Child. This is symphonic metal from my radio show in college. There should be a little bit of wear on this. Oh, there's a lot of it. There's a ton of scratches. Yeah, so another thing about CDs, another reason why I'm not a fan of portable CD players, especially if you do 90s style, where you're listening to the CDs directly and stuff. Fortunately, I bought this in the 2000s when the prices crashed after MP3 became a thing. But Nightwish, yeah, this is Tarja Nightwish too, when they still had the opera singer. So this is classic Nightwish right here. So Century Child, also have Oceanborn as well. That was even more that was even more like uppity up than this thing was. Some people said Century Child was boring compared to Oceanborn, but the reason why this CD is so scuffed, let's look at it. Scratches all over the place. The reason why this CD is so scuffed is because I had these all in a binder. So I had one of those huge, like 9 CDs per side of the page binders. And what the heck is she just chatting for? Oh, she's doing a thing for her dog. Someone cashed in enough channel points to earn the dog treat maze. So she's probably going to switch to her dog now. I already got the drop. I don't even need to have the stream open, but she's the shout out of the day. Twitch.tv/Vindalia, ESO chill streamer. Been a long time since I did a shout out. She's only playing in 160p though. That's why she's so smudged. But yeah, Nightwish, Century Child, scuffed as heck because I had one of those CD binders that was 9 CDs to a page, and I kept putting them in and out of the sleeves when I was doing the radio show. I kept them in order too, but using those things actually scratch these things up even more. It's like, and this is the day and age of burnable CDs, so I should have just burned stuff instead. Kept these in a box somewhere. There's your fair use in the 2000s with physical media. Yeah, this is more scuffed than my high school CDs because it rattled around in a binder for years. I'm looking at the wrong chat. No, wait, that's not chat. That's my chat in the middle. What's this? Should post a pic on Twitter. Yeah, I had one of those giant Case Logic. That was the brand. Maybe they're still around. I don't know. Let me double check that. Is Case Logic... This is CDs we're talking about. No freaking way that any of this is anywhere near current. Give me another Google Chromey thing here. Case Logic. One word. That was the brand that... Oh, man. They still make... They just make camera bags. Yeah, they still make camera bags and accessory cases, and it's asking me, do I want to accept cookies? The cookies get deleted when I close this thing anyways. So they just don't make things for Case Logic. Oh, they're still around. They just make things for tablets and... Oh, they still have it. Oh, can I see pictures of it open? Quick, link to browser mode. Let's see. Da-da. OBS. What? Oh, that's what I did. I hid my menu bar. F11. No. F11. F11. Oh, it keeps going full screen. Turn that. Can I click that off? Source buttons. Multi-view. No. Let's see. Can I... Why can't I toggle full screen? Oh, there's the title bar went off the top of the screen. That's why. Put it up to... Let's put it up to half of screen 2. Go to browser mode. Link it up to... Web browser. V doesn't have a YouTube. Yeah, see. Oops. No, Case Logic. There we go. V doesn't have a YouTube presence, so no. Every so often I'll kind of throw in a little shout out like this and stuff. I think she's working on YouTube videos though, but it's not really her thing. Case Logic, 224 capacity CD wallet. This is the descendant of the thing I used to bring to the radio show, except this one's smaller. It only has, well, maybe the one I had only 4 CDs. Maybe I did have 4 CDs and stuff, but we didn't have these pockets here. You just opened up and you had a bunch of these things that you could put in it, and you could put CDs in them. And so taking CDs and sliding them in and out of that plastic was bound and determined to scratch the bottom. So I can't believe they still make these stupid things. Like, they make tablet cases and other stuff nowadays. That's their main product. But Case Logic, I can't believe they're still around. Holy crap. Blast from the past. Oh, that's awesome. I smurfed, oh no. Get my OBS back to screen 1 so I can be properly balanced because I have a mix of colors in it. Yeah, so Nightwish, Century Child, scuffed as heck. So it's kind of crazy that, you know, hauling that binder. Oh, the thing is, I was flipping discs a lot more at the radio station than I was at my in high school with my CD players. So technically being a college radio DJ at a radio station that had a license for all of the various types of music that we could broadcast, like, oh yeah, bring in your CD collections. If you don't, you know, make your own. We got licenses for all the major U.S. labels and some international labels. Bring in the, we have broadcast licenses for that stuff. Bring in the CD. Yeah, so I did. I had a huge binder that I'd lug up to the studio every Saturday night and be flipping CDs in and out, putting them in the one slide-out CD thing. I think we had 2 of them, actually. Or maybe a stack of 3. But I'd be flipping in and out of the CD players and crap like that and just constantly putting stuff in and out of the binder. That's why some of these college CDs are going to be worse than the high school ones. What's the next one? Oh, Creed, Weathered. This is the college Creed CD. I might have played this on the show a little bit, but I did more. Once I discovered European metal, I played power and prog metal and just got rid of all the regular music. So, no rock, no rap, no pop, especially with pop hip-hop, like whatever that Ja Rule song was. It played every 5 minutes in 2003. What was it? Whole bunch of stuff here. Oh, this has a couple of scratches, but it's not any worse than my high school CDs, because Creed was kind of sort of, I mean, when the U.S. sent troops into Iraq, I played the Bullets song a lot from this. Very, very angry sounding Creed song. Actually angrier than most of the songs that they get made fun of for, because little known fact, Creed was Nickelback before Nickelback was Nickelback. There were people in like 2000, 2001 making fun of Creed for sounding too formulaic, playing all their songs in D, having the same drum beat for all their popular songs. It didn't happen as much as Nickelback, and Nickelback kind of stole the show from them in terms of songs that sound like other songs. But Creed had a smaller version of Nickelback's problem. So, oh, wait a minute. This isn't even the original case for it either. Symphonic Cosmic Metal. Yeah, so where'd my Luca Turilli CD go? Or do I have the... No, this is Creed, and that's the Creed CD. So I borrowed... Oh, probably had to flip covers. I used to have Luca Turilli's Prophet of the Last Eclipse or something. It was he played for Rhapsody back then, now known as Rhapsody of Fire. And he tried making cosmic space metal, and he had a lot of sci-fi sound effects and stuff, and it was symphonic, and it was really cool. Oh boy, Newsboys, Take Me to Your Leader. This is a high school CD, one of the popular albums. One of the popular albums when I first joined the youth group. I had this on tape before they got this. They had this. The Newsboys basically represented some of the most alternative. What's this new stuff? Space metal, yeah. I see chat in OBS for it or I see chat on YouTube before it makes it to OBS. That's what threw me there. That's why I think I'm looking at two chats and accidentally looking at V's chat instead. Newsboys, Take Me to Your Leader by Star Song. It wobbles a little when it spins, though. Can I actually make that happen a little? Yeah, so much slower, but when it's going at whatever the RPMs are for a CD, the lines squiggle a little. If you got one of those see-through players they have at Amazon these days, this would probably get mesmerized and stuff. The problem with the Newsboys is after this, they stopped sounding like they were trying to have any kind of style. So there's a little green eye through the middle of the CD thing, because this doesn't have the original bottom of this. It was originally clear, but it was yet another one of those CDs I bought from Strawberries that had some of these things in the middle already broken. $18.98 in 90s money, $33 in today's money, and it would be damaged. And you'd have to take off the plastic, all those stupid little things on the top, the anti-theft things, and that basically made it so you couldn't return it. And you popped it open. They only take it back to sell it as used. If they even did that. My Strawberries didn't. They only sold new stuff. Once you popped it open and you saw that it was damaged and these little things in the middle were already broken, you were screwed. Yay! 90s music, baby. So that's why I'm not very nostalgic for the era when these were how you listen to music before MP3 became available. By and large, I know I'm older than MP3s and digital music, although MP3 was kind of a millennial thing too with the Napster fiasco. Stuff in the 2000s, but I welcomed the new technology. I welcomed not spending the equivalent of $33 in 2022 money on this to risk getting it scratched every time I wanted to listen to it. Too bad they didn't have like anti-scratch coatings like Blu-ray. Even the PlayStation's thing, even the black discs of the PlayStation, I think had a little more anti-scratch. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. Oh, here's the high school Creed, Human Clay. Can you take me higher? And then With Arms Wide Open, oh, he's gonna have a kid. Woo! The I'm Gonna Be a Dad song, kind of like Semisonic's Closing Time. This is the specific album that one of the pop punk bands that came out to my college and did a show there, gigs for you folks in the Commonwealth. This is one of the that was the song they were making fun of. Like every hit song being in the key of D. And it seemed like Mark Tremonti always played the same stuff on his guitar. I don't know if it was on purpose or not. Wow. Couple of squiggly scratches. But this is like, this isn't one of the newer ones. 1999. Yeah, 1999. Human Clay. Yeah, 1999, baby. Couple of scratches, but it's actually in better shape than my college CDs. We're not to the bad ones yet. This is end of the 90s. So I graduated in 2000. So, yeah, let's see here. Class of 2000. That used to have some prestige to it because prior to the year 2000. The year 2000 sounded so futuristic because everything had been 1990 something or 19 something for, well, 1,000 years. The psychology of the new millennium. Not like anyone's going to care 22 years later. Except historians. I've been so tempted to start a YouTube channel, not at all like this one, about nostalgia for millennials, focusing on the 2000s and making like video essays about stuff. That would be, I don't know. I think people like what I do right now. That would be a time sucker though, trying to make something like alternate history hub or something. Michelle Branch, The Spirit Room. This is No, I didn't soften up and start listening to Michelle Branch. Before I discovered the metal that I would have on my CD, on my radio show, I was buying pop music just so I'd have something to play that I knew. There was a whole bunch of CDs in the studio that you could pop in. There was no automation. Well, there was an automation, and there was about 30 songs that were digitized into the computer of top hits and stuff. So you could play the automation and, play like top 40. But there was also shelves and shelves of CDs that I never wanted to go digging through. And of course, where's the tracks in the back? It wouldn't happen on this one because there's no swears. In a college, you can tell us if you want to know if something was used at a college radio station, look for Sharpie over the names of certain tracks on the back, because that meant the song had a swear and you couldn't play it. And if you ever got caught playing something that could get the station fined by the FCC, you were instantly kicked off the radio station permanently. So you had to know that the music you were playing didn't have swears in it. It was not optional. You had to know that the music that you were playing didn't have swears in it. No, this is like, although the FCC would fine a college for playing vulgar music. I just didn't understand. I mean, I saw the prior releases of it that actually had this the other way, I think. When I got this, the blue picture was on the outside. And then the other side was this. This is the one that I'm actually used to seeing for box art. Maybe I should just leave it this way. But then it doesn't match the back. So I don't know. Maybe it was a re-release. Or there was some kind of multiple releases of this thing. This is a 2000s music joke, by the way, because Michelle Branch and Vanessa Carlton sounded exactly like each other, which is probably why the record companies signed whichever one came second. One just played a guitar and one played a piano, and Vanessa Carlton got memed back then for her rolling piano on the back of a truck somewhere. It made, then again, the piano guys kind of do that stuff nowadays. So, Dungeon, A Rise to Power. Power metal as, except, that too. Power metal from Australia. The ego-loaded dude who ran this band went by the name Lord Tim. Sounds like Dungeons and Dragons. Despite being called Dungeon, though, these folks sounded just like Iron Maiden. They were like the Australian Iron Maiden of sorts. So they didn't play power metal per se, but they played more regular heavy metal. Nowadays, the group is called Lord because only the lead singer, I think, is left. So he was Lord Tim 20 years ago. Now he just goes by Lord. Not like Lord with the E, like the pop singer from the 2010s. Just L-O-R-D. You can punch it into YouTube Music. There's some songs actually from there, like A Rise to Power and stuff that sound kind of like Hammerfall nowadays, modern instruments. Oh, Michelle Branch, scratches galore. You can tell that it was in the back of, even though I didn't play it as much because I started playing metal when I found out about, metal that was still melodic as opposed to new metal. Oh, look at this. Half the things are broken. CDs, baby. Well, how did Dungeon fare? Oh, a couple of deep scratches. But it doesn't look any worse for the wear. Excuse me. Yep, Dungeon. Now known as Lord. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I pulled this one just to have an example of Michael W. Smith, Worship Again. This is what, went to college, checked in on the folks at the church, and everybody was listening to worship music everywhere they go. Like they were trying to turn all of their regular life into a never-ending church service. Gone were the days of inspirational music about dealing with life's troubles, or CCM, or even gospel music being played a lot in people's cars. You probably know what that sounds like. Kirk Franklin or BB and CC Winans or something. And now everybody was trying to make all of their secular life into a never-ending church service because of this guy and his two earth-shattering albums and a companion concert DVD. You could buy all three of these in jewel cases, and you would have both of the CDs. The reason why I found out about these two albums is because one of the guys in the AV office got involved in an evangelical church, and he started playing this in the office, and I'm like, is that Michael W. Smith? Because I remember his 90s music. Michael W. Smith was a bit more Nashville in the 90s, so he played stuff that was closer to radio hits. And you might be familiar with his more secular sounding ones like Place in This World and I Will Be Here For You on the, that was early 90s. It sounded like, like Richard Marx, Right Here Waiting. It was on the radio too. I heard it on the light station, and then I heard it on Wow the 90s, compilation of 90s hits in CCM. And I was like, whoa, I heard that one on the radio. That's cool that this stuff's making it on the radio. Didn't occur to my teenage naive brain that the reason why it was on the radio is because it sounded like a love song or a friend's song or something. It didn't sound religious at all. Ugh. No. So what do you do these days? If I go to a church, it's going to be liturgical. It's going to be very traditional because I've grown up and matured, and it's not a problem for me anymore if religious stuff, looks religious. Just, I grew up in New England. There's a lot of Catholic influence around here, and there's a lot of people that grow up not understanding the services, and so they don't understand it, and they do that thing where you don't like what you don't understand, and so it sticks with them for the rest of their life. But if you actually start using your brain trying to learn the history and stuff, it makes more sense. Although I jive better with Lutherans these days. Let's see here. Yeah, handsome. Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah. How did this one... I did not play this, obviously, on the show. This is a post-college CD for me. So pick this up because I was like, okay, let me check out those songs that my old boss liked. This has some scratches, too, which is weird because most of the time this was played, if I played it at all, was actually in this thing before I got the SanDisk Sansa. So I played CDs the regular way in this RCA first. Then I started making MP3 CDs, and I was like, oh, MP3 CDs, you get way more songs on them. Then I found out about MP3 players. Oh, that's what an iPod is. And I was like, oh, I guess I wasted money on this thing. And I bought two of them because the first one I thought was having problems. The 2000s. All right, what do we have here? This is one of the worst ones that I have, and a great example of why portable CD players, I dance on the grave of portable CD players. Look at this. Not the worst one I have, but it has the biggest hole in it. Newsboys Going Public. Mid-1990s, very popular CCM Kong? No. Oh, that's Tarzan as well. I'm getting the impressions wrong. I think I go traditional post to be Protestant. Well, the thing is, there's a lot of churches around here that are either ethnic type things, where if you're Swedish, you go to this church, or if you're from this country, you go there, or if you're Italian, you go to this Catholic parish. So there's a lot of like culture, like where your ancestors were from, and it's kind of more of a cultural thing or a community thing. They like run a bunch of food banks around here. There's a ecumenical group that runs a diaper bank for poor mothers who need diapers for their babies. Cute little like benevolence work like that. If I'm going to get involved, if I'm going to go to all the trouble to get involved with religious folks, I want to actually give a darn about the religion. I know it sounds common sense, but I mean, you're talking essentially about ideas. So your doctrines and beliefs are just ideas. They're just older ideas than a lot of science we have nowadays. So, I mean, I want to be around people who articulate them and actually, take them seriously. Pretty hard to do when I'm on night shift, but thanks to what happened during the lockdowns and stuff, I actually follow a Lutheran church on Twitch. Conservative Wisconsin Synod from out in Colorado. They broadcast their services on Twitch, oddly enough. There's plenty on YouTube. There's plenty of places on YouTube that picked up equipment during the lockdowns too. See if you can see this. Look at that. Put it over my pale ass face, or better yet. Can I do this? It's shining through the light. I gotta back it off. There it is. Just get the distance correct. See the hole? See those two holes? This looks like bit rot on a bad CD-ROM. Yeah, that's a scratch label side. You can see through it. That song skipped on everything. And then there's the bit on the end, there's the bit of material on the end that's gone. Look at that. It's got to be light instead of dark. It's turning into like a mirror show of some sort. All right. Yeah, there we go. See the two things looking like some little tiny rat took a bite out of it? That's actually a scratch on the label side. And there's part of the material missing. You can see that on camera. Yeah, peekaboo. See where the purple isn't there? There we go. Yep. Bit rot, baby. Not rot, but like material rot and stuff. This is not rot though. This is not CD rot. These got on here in the 90s. Well, maybe it was my white Westinghouse CD player at the time, but when I saw this, I was furious. You know, again, CDs, even the older CDs wouldn't be that much less expensive than the usual 1898. This is from 1994. This was the album before Take Me to Your Leader. It was from the mid-90s, so it was a couple of years old when I picked it up, but I don't remember ever paying much less than that 1898 price. It was always at least $15 a CD, which, let's ask the Google folks what that works out to in terms of inflation. If top hits are the equivalent of $33 in 2022 money, $15 in 1997 is worth what today?
On the website in 2013dollars.com, they say $15 in 1997 is equivalent in purchasing power to about $26.52 today.
$26.50.
$11.52 over 25 years. Do you want a little more context?
No, thank you.
Okay.
There you go. $26.50 in 2022 dollars. For something that had this happen to it. And I tell you, you know, home CD players, at least they didn't, I mean, there weren't like, yeah, you can even see them without the light. You can see little bumps there. Yeah, and if I flip it the other way and put the light, take the light, put it through it, you can probably, yeah, it's actually glare. Oh no. There we go. You can see the little things there. See them through the label. And you can even see the other thing easier too. Yeah, I should just accent the contrast for this. Yep. So, from the white Westinghouse on down, my second CD player, after the one with no anti-skip, the laser died. Or you technically say it's my first CD player with anti-skip, which was a godsend on the bus. The other problem, too, by the way, is that whatever damage I might have done to my hearing, I probably did in high school, cranking something like this up to not hear the music over the radio on the school bus. And sometimes the bus driver would just crank it up, completely oblivious to the fact that at least a third of the bus would be listening to their own music instead of the radio. You know, maybe they were into rap or something and she'd always play WAAF, the only station that really rocks. Rock station out of Massachusetts, by the way. 107.3 WAAF. The only station that really rocks. Do they still go by that? I don't know. I haven't followed AAF since the 2000s. You know, I don't have a long commute anymore. So once I actually started getting these in the MP3 players, I stopped having a reason to listen to like the Hillman morning show and stuff back then. Yeah, WAAF, rock station. Some of their personalities in the 90s and 2000s bordered on shock jocks, took obvious influence from Howard Stern. Let's see, like Whip 'em Out Wednesday caused a bunch of Gen X teenagers in those days to go writing WOW on stuff, and only the young people knew what it meant. It's kind of like all those Korn fans that would always write Korn on everything in school, and they're like, what the heck is that? What is Korn? Kind of a step down from Metallica, where in the early 90s or late 80s, if you wrote Metallica on something, people were scared of you if you were a Metallica fan, at least before the Black Album. What the? Oh, someone redeemed the psychedelic V thing on there. I don't know. I'm just giving her a concurrent right now. She has up to 400 concurrents, though. Okay. Here is what is probably one of the worst CD that I have. I've had two of these, so this is the second one that's had the exact same problem. It's involved in this evangelical subculture when I was a teenager. The central album of the youth group was DC Talk's Jesus Freak. It was alterna rock, very, very 90s. Very, very 90s, and a lot of attitude. Even a guy in the back patting his goatee, who, by the way, started singing hip hop in the 2000s. All of these guys have all gone to some other band since then. Guy in the middle sang for Newsboys. Kevin Max did some stuff of his own. But here's the CD. You weren't a 90s teenager listening to CCM unless you had this. And I've had two of them. This is the second one, contemporary to the 90s. Let's get the rot to show up. There's no way for me to darken it this time, so I'm just going to back everything way the heck out. Look at all... This is the one that has something resembling bit rot. I should see if this thing if it can even still reliably play. There was a re-release of this album because this came out in 1990. My eyes. There was a re-release of this that came out in for the 25th 5-year anniversary, because this originally came out in 1995. So that flash mode, I hate it. I'm not trying to have strobe lights anymore. They give me headaches these days. So yeah, you see the two big holes here, and we just shone the light on all the rot through this thing. I can see all the rot when I look through the disc with just the TV on the other side. This thing is just, I could probably do it here too. It just won't focus. Nah. But portable CD players. This is one of my most listened to CDs out of the high school bunch, and it shows. And this is the second one that I had. I could get the 25-year anniversary re-release and maybe finally, after all these decades, have a version of this that isn't going to scratch. But you can play it on YouTube or something. There's what doesn't scratch when you play the digital music version of it. All right, and for those of you that need an example of a single, this is the only single I ever got in the 90s, Puff Daddy's Best Friend. So Puff Daddy sings a song that sounds like CCM. What do you know? My CCM-loving friends suddenly want this. Because it sounds like the music we listen to, even though it's Puff Daddy. So we convince our parents to let us listen to Puff Daddy because of this thing. The little cardboard sleeve. It's only got two songs on it. It's got the Best Friend song. Put some light on it. It's got the Best Friend song, and it has an instrumental. Used to put the instrumental on loop as well. Not much of the CD even taken up, but there's scratches galore. It's got a cardboard sleeve, so it's not all that great. But yeah, Puff Daddy, Best Friend, circa 1999, I think. The one and only single that I ever got, 1999-2000. Yeah, this is very, very late in that era for me. So, yep, this is what a single was. Yeah, you'd have the single, you'd pay like $5 for one of these, and it would have like 2 songs on it. But singles would only get released for certain songs, so it wasn't quite like buying an MP3. Now, it's in a cardboard sleeve, but it's not a single. This one's from college. The Mission 120, Turn Up Your Radio, Fork in Hand Records. Small album with only 6 songs, because these folks were a more local regional band in the Boston area. I think I have it in my, what is this, a speedometer for a CD. There you go. The Mission 120. I had my first roommate in college was into punk rock and hardcore rock, where they screamed instead of sang, hardcore punk rock and stuff. And so he originally thought, because this band opened for Blink-182 when they were on tour, this was a number band, but they were a lot more rough around the edges. I played this in the dorm room when he was like, "You're listening to that sissy stuff. Listen to Cause for Alarm or Kid Dynamite or something like that." And then I put this in. I start cranking up. I was like, "Hey, that actually sounds pretty cool. They actually played on campus." He'd go out to punk rock shows every weekend with his girlfriend, so to get away from all the studying and stuff. But there was a time when these guys. There's also Fuel. They did the Hemorrhage in My Hand song. They actually played on campus when I first went there. I didn't go to the show though. It was like a welcome weekend kind of thing. Yeah, Mission 120. Turn Up Your Radio. Only 6 songs. I don't think even people even still remember this band. There was there's a gig video that I found of these guys singing their song One More Try, which is about a bad girlfriend and getting high. So it's still on YouTube. It just sounds horrible. I'm actually curious if Fork in Hand would ever put this on YouTube Music. Kind of like how everything's going digital these days. Is it even on Amazon? I mean, the Mission 120. I mean, they were basically they were a number band they were a small regional number band that opened for a small regional number they opened for Blink 182. So they were a number band's number band. But at least they were rough around the edges and to not sound like total wimps. They did not sound like Simple Plan or Blink 182. Guy had a rougher voice. So let's see here. Amazon.com. Let me see what pops up. The Mission 120. It's giving me tires. Turn up your radio. I don't know is Fork in Hand Records even still around? Liquid hydration multiplier, powder packets, Midland Hurricane radio, Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Dark Circles Treatment Concealer Makeup. Yeah, I'm guessing I'm not getting this. So I'm guessing it's not on Amazon Music. So let's look on music. Unlimited access to 90 million songs. Okay, the Mission 120. I'm getting tires again. Dunlop Trailmax Mission rear tire, 120 1917. Skinny ass thing for $150. This must be like a wheelbarrow tire or something. Is Fork in Hand Records even still around, or did they get bought out or something? Hand Records. Big D is back with a twist. Local boss and yeah, Fork in Hand is still around. Check out self-release records from Big D and the Kids Table and Shepherd's Ferry's first interactive collection of music and art, The Giant Rock and Roll Swindle, featuring Peaches, The Hives, I've heard of them, the Beastie Boys side project BS 2000, heard of the Beastie Boys, obviously, unreleased tracks from Modest Mouse and the Suicide Machines, and an interactive exhibition of Shepherd's Factory Obey artwork. We've just been demonetized. Boo-hoo-hoo. Nah, I'm just guessing at that. Fork in Hand. Drexel, Stray Bullets. There it is. The Mission 120 Turn Up Your Radio CD. This item is not available for purchase. Sorry. Okay, digital download. It's on iTunes. Okay. So there is life after being out of print for this thing. Yeah, I mean there was another band that played on campus called Lemon Stone that did like acoustic rock, similar to the Dave Matthews Band. The lead singer of that one became a music teacher. So, they I think in my most random playlist of all time, I have the one good Lemon Stone song that I actually liked. That, let's see here. Oh, okay, here we go. Weird Al Yankovic Mandatory Fun, representing the 2010s. There is zero reason for this CD to be anything but perfect because I never actually listened to it directly. I digitized it and I was done, and it is absolutely flawless. This is the way that CDs were made to be taken care of. Bada bing. Some of my Weird Al CDs were I played in college. But this one is obviously 2014. There is zero reason for this to be anything but immaculate, and it absolutely is. I never did understand why Weird Al went with communist propaganda for, his theme for the last album. So, maybe because it's funny, I don't know. All right, what do we have also in this thing? Kirk Franklin, The New Nation Project. And a broken thing on the inside so the disc doesn't stay in it. Yeah, this song number 2 on this, Revolution, had a crap ton of rap-style bass, even though it's a gospel song. So, needless to say, the folks in the youth group got a hold of this thing. They put it through the church PA, which had gigantic 20-something-inch woofers, and made them dance. I think they might have almost blew an amp. It wasn't like a truck amp or anything, but it's like Friday night. They're playing with the mixer in the back, in the PA booth, and the problem is the PA was in mono because you only need to hear what the preacher is saying and whatnot. So it was actually wired up in mono so that everybody could hear everything no matter where you were in the sanctuary. So, but even in mono, the bass was like for that one song. Kirk Franklin had a reputation at the time for being too rowdy with gospel music. Folks in my youth group, though, they got a hold of this and all they cared about was the bass. Again, it's something that they listened to because their parents wouldn't let them listen to hip-hop. Let's see here. Scratches, basically on par. I didn't play this a lot. There's also a song called You Can Lean on Me. Very, very... I mean, that's probably one of the nicest, most benevolent songs I've ever heard. And it's right after the Bump and Thump one. So 2 and 3 are what I played the most on this. Yeah. Let's see here. It's actually very, very soulful. It's just complete opposite of what came before it if you ever punch it into YouTube and take a listen. Oh, yeah. It's a couple of scratches on par with stuff I might have played in my high school CD players and being in a busted CD case so it won't stay put. Oh, yes. This one's very heavily played. DC Talk, welcome to the Freak Show. You imagine me as a teenager, I had no idea what a live album was, and I'm wondering, oh, it's a concert album. Why doesn't it sound as good as a studio album? I don't know. All right, so you have this, making fun of, like, vaudeville shows and stuff. Does this have a rot problem? Yeah. So the CD is some kind of industrial cover thing, and then I think there's, yeah. There you go. Gen X influence, trying to make it as edgy as possible. It was a live album, these folks. But you can tell it's a bunch of like church youth groups and stuff because the high-pitched crowd sounds like a bunch of young folks, because it pretty much was. I did go to an Audio Adrenaline show. Couple of scuffs here and there for scratches, including areas where it looks like someone stabbed the material. So, scratches, baby. So we're seeing the trend here. High school, college, and afterwards, and based on the decade, all had their Baba, freestyle rapper. Another guy that was sponsored came out to the campus one night. Mind Music. I think I digitized this. I don't think I played it. And that's why there's like only a few scratches on it. I think I might have played it in my CD player when I was using it on campus. But there's also a little demo, which is probably rare. Of course, this guy's don't know if he even still does music. One of these little things, little 3-inch single. We actually got these for free at the radio station as kind of promo material, and we passed out a bunch of them to plug the events. New album in stores now. Guy even signed it. This is actually a signed copy. This guy was a complete and total freestyle rapper. He would literally make stuff up on the spot, and he would actually play Mad Libs where you actually told him what to include, and he'd find a way to integrate it into his rap. So, where did he sign it? I think he signed the other side. No, he signed the case, I think. Oh, there it is. Jason Baba 2002. Which is why I selected it. 20 years later. This was contemporary to Eminem's Lose Yourself, so there was a little bit of an interest in stuff like this at the time. I don't know if he's even doing anything anymore. Velour Records. What happens if I type that into Google? But yeah, he was a I don't know how far he actually went with music. He did manage to get a record deal, but he did like live shows and stuff. Oh, I got Alibaba on there. Let's see, rapper. Baba Brinkman is a New York. He's a New York-based rap artist known for his Rap Guide series of science-themed albums, Tech Talks. This might be... I don't know. I don't know if it's the same guy. Maybe if he grew a longer beard. He definitely looks older than he was when he was dressing up in those hats. Might be. Might be. So he does like science-themed rap nowadays? Known for his Rap Guide series of science-themed albums, TED Talks, and off-Broadway theater productions. During the pandemic, Baba founded Event Rap Incorporated, a booking service that helps you commission videos and virtual performance. Join our mailing list. Hey, I was reading that. Helps commission videos and virtual performances on any topic delivered by experienced rappers. Yeah, that was obviously a college CD and stuff. Oh, here we go. Here's nice if I could see what I was doing. Yeah. Big. He still has red as his color. I'll have to go check out and see what he's doing nowadays. Stradivarius Visions. Another one from the radio show. This one is probably scuffed as heck because it was in the binder. Yeah. Yeah, a couple of notable scratches and some splotches on it. Will that buff out? Yeah, I think that'll buff out. Enhanced CD too. I don't think I've ever seen the enhanced CD on it. Yeah. All right. About halfway through the stack. Do you want to go through the rest of it? Oh yeah, this is more like Rhapsody, Symphony of Enchanted Lands. Unfortunately, the name Rhapsody wasn't unique enough, so they had to rename to Rhapsody of Fire. This is the one from 1990. This is the one from 1997. Yep, a couple of scratches from being one of my favorites. A couple of scratches from being shuffled in and out of that binder. Okay. For the rest of this, we're going to do it backwards, now that the back stack is bigger than the front stack. I've actually tossed around the idea of doing record collection vlogs, going through all the other CDs that I have and talking about them. Maybe pick a few or something like that. There's actually, there was a guy that used to do like tech-ish videos that actually did that once with an old record collection. He actually got some views. Classic YouTube. You know, you can get views with just about anything these days if there's anybody in the world somewhere that's interested in it. Nightwish Oceanborn. Yeah, here we go. Nightwish Oceanborn. This was the one that Century Child was allegedly the more boring version of. That artwork right there. See. Not a lot of scratches, 'cause I didn't play this as much as Century Child. Just a girl in a white bathing suit floating in water. All right, I suppose with the CCM we talked about earlier, oh, this one's a doozy. WoW 2000. CCM's equivalent of the top 40 list was a top 30 list. Every year there were WoW albums I have them from 1996 to 2000. There's somebody, I guess there was somebody involved in this record stuff that actually passed away, and so the WoW hits later on changed into something else. I think the compilations might still be around. For let me just see. I think they got branched off into WoW Gospel and WoW Hits. Let me just look for WoW Gospel. That'll probably pop something. Oh yeah, WoW Gospel 2009. Oh, WoW series Wikipedia. Yeah, here it is. It's a series. It even has a wiki. The WoW series even has. This is like 90s, not like World of Warcraft. WoW series is an annual compilation album featuring contemporary Christian music dating from 1995. There's one from 95 that I never heard. Comprising songs submitted by each partner label, the annual WoW Hits releases are usually double CD sets. Oh, the series was officially canceled in 2019. Okay. Why is it saying that it is when it officially was? Oh. So 90. Oh, that's right. So each of these was for the year after. So this is actually circa 1999. So WoW 96 is the one that released in 95. November of 95. So these always came out towards the end of the year, and it's kind of like a top 30 instead of a top 40. It's like now, yeah, it's basically the CCM answer to Now albums, except they were WoW instead of Now. I've got one called WoW the 90s that was like supposed to be a little of everything there. WoW 2000 was the last. Yeah, this is the last one before it branched off. It got swapped off into WoW Hits that went until 2019, and WoW Gospel went until 2019. WoW Worship went until 2014. WoW Essentials released in August 08. It includes 12 songs that are essential to CCM life. It's Chris Tomlin, Casting Crowns, Yeah, so I think it was just, I don't even know what it, I've heard some CCM nowadays. It just isn't as focused as it was when I was growing up. So I don't even know if that even matters anymore with the way things are, with the way people are, with the way they look at stuff. But you know what you're dealing with here, because there's an ad in the thing for filtered internet access, $39.95 a month. Is it $39.95 or is it $35.90? $19.95 value. .safe includes Microsoft Internet Explorer, old Windows 98 era IE5 logo. This CD is enhanced with .safe filtered internet software. .safe filtered internet access automatically blocks X-rated sites, monitors the net 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I think you can do that at the router level now. No. There's There's a DNS service that you can use that will automatically block porn sites for you via DNS. And it's one of the DNS services out there. I saw that and I thought of these kinds of things. Subscribe to DotSafe now. Receive a free month of unlimited internet access. This is dial-up, by the way. $19.95 value. For a limited time, use your WoW CD and DotSafe will waive the $20 activation charge. Ah, darn lights. I keep forgetting not to put that in flash mode. That's how they have like the albums they all came off of and stuff. And the discs were always different colors. We're going to check both of these. I listened to both of these a lot for some reason when I didn't feel like listening to any particular person. The purple disc was always the first disc was always the rowdier one, and the second disc was always for the older folks. So they went for a little of everything. Not a lot of scratches. Not a lot of scratches. The silver disc, oddly enough, does not have scratches label side, which is weird because I swore there'd be one of these days. Ah! Also worth noting, the silver disc also had a tribute song to the victims of the Columbine thing. So that's how far back we're going. Oh, here's something way more contemporary. Calvin Harris, 18 months. I don't even know why I got this. I think I saw it in Target. Should be spotless, because all I've ever done is digitize it. I think I heard a bunch of his songs, and I was like, let's pick up the album. You know, the way what you would normally do nowadays. Calvin Harris, 18 months. Yep. The Bounce song was in this. I always liked Let's Go. We Found Love with Rihanna. I still hear on the radio. The Need Your Love with Ellie Goulding. I still hear on the radio. Yep. Yeah. I went on Facebook one day and I was like, beep, 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 bounce. Reference to the first song. My dad asked me if I was high. Have you been drinking again, son? There you go. I said I listened to Frank Sinatra. Here you go. This should have nothing on it. They even made it look like a record. Spotless, because all I've ever done is digitize it. Saw it in Walmart. I was like, oh, Sinatra. For whatever reason, impulse buy. I think it was only $8 or so. Oh, here's something from back when I founded the YouTube channel. Trucker's Jukebox. Trucker country. If you like Trucker's Jukebox, yeah, there's a whole bunch of country albums in here. This is songs about driving big rigs. What is it? 97's a nice station here. I have a single from a Japanese artist. It's very nice. Oceanborn. Now that's 90s, whatever. Fly Me to the Moon or something. Yeah, Fly Me to the Moon was one of those songs, too. Heard it in the Wall Street movie as well. Trucker's Jukebox. Like Alabama's Roll on 18-Wheeler. There's even talking country in here. Like from the 70s and stuff like... A bunch of people playing guitars and a guy just drawling with southern drawl and stuff like that. Hello, I'm a truck. Obviously, I saw this and I was like, oh, this should be interesting. I'll bet it's a bunch of country, right? Yep, it was a bunch of old country. I'd heard of Alabama before, though. They used to be on the country station in the 90s when I was little. My folks didn't listen to CCM. I was the one that got into it because I got involved in the church. They listened to country and light stuff. Here's an out-of-print album that was my introduction to concept music. Streams. Not to be confused with streaming or anything else called streams. This is supposed to be, I think it was about Streams of Living Water, I think was the reference. It's all very, very quiet type stuff that's supposed to help you relax. And the point of all of this was if you had something bad happen in your life, you'd listen to stuff like this. There's even an orchestral suite by the Irish Film Orchestra on the last 4 songs. So I used to use, the only thing I have ever used the program button for was for this album. The program button on CD players lets you dial in specific songs you want to play, and then you can either play them sequentially or loop them. So the only time I did that was for streams, and I would loop those last 4 songs that were the Irish Film Orchestra. I think I have a playlist for that, a small playlist buried on my channel called Streams Orchestrals or something like that, the Streams Orchestral Suite. This thing's from 1999. So one of the places that I was involved with was a church that was tied in with a drug rehab ministry that helped people get off drugs and learn how to get up in the morning, have a job, go to work, do chores around the house. These are people who had literally no idea how to live any kind of constructive life because they'd been getting high nonstop for however long until they checked into this place. It was one of the guys going through that program, getting off drugs, that introduced me to this and said, you know, it's really relaxing, but it's not of this generation. So I checked it out and I was like, hey, I like this stuff. You could say it's like the distant ancestor of like the piano guys and some of the classical crossover I've listened to over the years. The Water. There's some, I think this is based on some Bible reference. I forgot what it was, but it's actually meant to be like relaxing type music. It's probably digital nowadays. People can probably listen to it on like YouTube or iTunes some. But it doesn't have a lot of scratches on it because it's from 99. Unlike WoW 97, which comes apart. Is this even the original case? Yeah. See here. Just like it's an enhanced CD, and it flips the other way, too. So we have a matte finish CD, and we have a shiny one. One is shiny, and one's matte finish. They're both blue. This is like the blue album and stuff. I think I got these out of order. I think I had 96 and 98 before I got 97. So here, oh, no. I guess, well, let's check the other disc. Yeah, it's typical CD player scratches that were doomed because you were using a portable device to play it most of the time. You were doomed to get those. No. And same thing, too, if you use the CD folders and other stuff. Oh, yeah, that's right. I totally forgot. I talked about 1898, a CD for top 40 releases in the 90s, coming out to $33 in today's money. $23.98. $24 for a multi-CD compilation. Well, since we're doing that, let's ask the Google speaker again. $24 in 1997 is worth what today?
On the website in 2013dollars.com, they say $24 in 1997 is equivalent in purchasing power to about $42.04 today, an increase of $18.04 over 25 years.
$42 in 2022 money for an album with more than one CD. Thank you.
$1.24 in 1997 is equivalent in purchasing power to about $42.04 today. 4 cents over 25
All right, what was that again?
The dollar had an average inflation rate of 2.27% per year between 1997 and
Let's get the number again now that I've distracted it.
75.17%.
What? Why didn't it come back? $24 in 1997 is worth what today?
On the website in 2013dollars.com, they say $24 in 1997 is equivalent in purchasing power to about $42.04.
Yeah, $42. That's right.
An increase of $18.04 over 25
Now I'll do this right this
years.
time.
You want a little more context?
No, thank you.
Okay.
No, that thing shot. $42 albums in 2022 money. Give or take, given what year in the late 90s you bought it. Here we go. College Messed. Yep. Another pop punk band, but I actually like these folks. I actually first found out about Messed. We're parental advisory, explicit content. Yeah, you can tell we're going into college here. I found this is actually a recent purchase. This is not contemporary to when I listened to these folks in the 2000s, but I actually borrowed this CD from the radio station to check it out because we're going back to the MP3 debacles here. Kazaa, LimeWire, etc. Messed had their Cadillac song on mp3.com, and I would listen to it there. And I was like, okay, this is punk rock, but they got a guy doing turntables. I think Bowling for Soup might have had something like that going on too. But yeah, this is about as 2000s pop punk as it gets. Aside from something like All American Rejects or something along those lines. But this is the happier stuff, you know. Some of these, the Rooftop song was a nice nostalgia song. Up on the rooftop, listening to punk rock. Nobody believed that. Oh, no. It was a good nostalgia song for me in college because it's like nowadays, I'm routinely up until sunrise. Staying up till 5 a.m. watching the sun come up again. And I pretty much did that back then, and I do it now. So, Messed. And as you can imagine from a name like Messed, It was an ass reference. Their website at the time was messcrap.com. So, but yeah, I borrowed this from the radio station, liked it, had to bring it back, of course. Got this off of Amazon later. This should be perfect. This should be absolutely perfect. Kind of got into a big CD thing. Oh, it's an enhanced CD too. Oh, I wonder what this one has on it. Try and tell from the logos. No. As long as it doesn't tell me to subscribe to AOL. Jars of Clay, the original self-titled release, mid-1990s. Never had this one. Sought it out on Amazon because this was the one that was more popular, and quite frankly, in terms of acoustic rock, these guys had way more of a style in the original CD, in the original album than they did in Much Afraid. I got in on that a little too late. So I didn't know what was what. I saw, the first Jars of Clay CD. I was like, oh, I know those guys. Let's check them out for $18.98 and 90s money. This one is perfect because it is not contemporary to the olden days. Digitized it, and it's sat ever since. All right, now we're getting into the last two are classical crossover, which is a wonderful example of what all this media, this online media stuff has done for us. Because the Piano Guys is a group kind of like Lindsey Sterling. The Piano Guys is a group that I was introduced to thanks to YouTube. So this is post-YouTube. They have YouTube videos. My favorite, by the way, is their cover of Philip Phillips's Home Song. And there's some other similar groups like Aston Classical and stuff like that. There was also a group of 3 people playing violins. I forgot what that one was called. So probably remember if I poked around, listened to their music a lot. The Piano Guys, I think this is digitized only. I don't think I ever listened to this in a real player. I bought these from, perfect. I bought these from my dad too, because I knew he'd like them. I'm like, hey, I've been listening to these folks on YouTube. He's like, oh, you and that YouTube thing. Next thing I know, he's playing this stuff in the CD player in the car every Saturday night when him and my stepmother go out for their date night that they've been doing for the last 30 years. 30 plus years. 30 plus years, baby. That's commitment. But yeah, the Piano Guys Deluxe Edition and the Piano Guys 2 Deluxe Edition. There's another one called, forgot what it was called, but I have that one too. It was more contemporary stuff. I recognize a lot of these earlier albums, though, because I actually know some of the songs off the radio. Other than Coldplay's A Sky Full of Stars, when Endless Wonder came out, I didn't really recognize a lot of it. It's a problem with some of this classical crossover is you have to be familiar with the original songs to really fully understand the song. They also have a Christmas album out, too. Yeah, Piano Guys and Piano Guys 2. Digitized it, and that was it. Assuming I even play the MP3s these days. Ah! Darn Strobe. I probably listen to the ASMR of water running. I have some vaporwave called Eco Virtual. Interesting. But yeah, so, all right, I think we've given V enough watch hours tonight. So, all right. Probably unlurk when I go back to the stream. So, portable CD players. The reason why we looked through all these CDs is to showcase various elements of, how the old way of doing things just sucked. When you spent too much money for something like this, and then you were at risk of damaging it just using what you spent all that 90s money on. So, when you're paying like the equivalent of up to $40, you're paying the equivalent of up to $40 for an album in today's 2022 money. It's just no. No, 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 no. So, no matter what TechMoan says, I dance on the grave of these things. These things represent an era where you would spend too much money for music, and you would be at risk of destroying what you spent too much money on and having to spend too much money again because there were no digital alternatives. Just the scratch thing on CDs. I'm surprised there never was something like, for like what we have with Blu-ray. Of course, it may have been what happened with CDs and DVDs inspired the anti-scratch coating that became a standard feature on Blu-ray. Or it could also be the case that Blu-ray with way more data density was so sensitive we didn't want to take the risk of any scratches on it because it would be so easy to ruin a movie that way. So, the only plus side to these, especially with the people I've seen who are collecting these now, both vintage and modern, is that if you're going to collect electronics and square devices off against each other, portable CD players is probably cheap and pretty easy. Portable CD players is probably cheap and easy to collect. That's probably the reason why some of these people whose YouTube videos I've been introduced to, that's probably one of the reasons why they're doing that, is because, I mean, these things are just basically, it's not really worth it to use these anymore. You can play your retail music and risk damaging it, or you can play burned CDs, but burned CDs only are, do computers even have optical anymore? So you don't really need, burned CDs or MP3 CDs for some of the newer ones, but MP3 CDs don't hold as much as flash memory. You might as well if you're going to get one of these, you might as well get one with an SD reader and put an SD card in it with bazillions of songs and bounce between them. Scalable storage, unlike MP3 CDs, and definitely more storage than burnable CDs that played the digital audio directly. So, I mean, I was never really into burning CD. Well, here's why I don't have a bunch of burned CDs of these things. I was playing the retail ones back in the 90s. Why don't we find one that's contemporary? Let's go back to WoW 97. Streams. Actually, Streams turned out to be one of my favorites of all time because of its concept album focus, even though it was all relax tracks type music. It was all like relax tracks music. Cindy Morgan's Job song is probably something I could see in like a movie about the book of Job. Guy loses everything he has as like a test of how faithful he is or whatever that was all about. Now, there's a whole bunch of interpretations of the book of Job, by the way. Some people just don't take it at face value and they try to find... It's like if you take literature classes in college where you're taking the same 5 books and seeing how many different interpretations the class can come up with. I did badly at that, by the way. Until the professor found out I didn't have a big background in liberal arts because I came from a technical high school and had more hard skills with electronics. She almost flunked me from my entry-level English class when I got to college. Because I was like, well, I'm kind of just reading it and trying to interpret it. I don't know what you folks do, but it seems like you folks take liberties with the material somehow, and you somehow find it acceptable if a person with a PhD does it. I don't know. She was a professor from Egypt, so maybe she had a different educational background or something like that. But I found a way to ace the class anyways. Took a lot of work, but yeah. So your choices. Here's the thing though. CD burner. First of all, I didn't have a computer until I went off to college, so most of the damage other than college stuff that I did was to these. So thing is though, we could digitize once you could digitize CDs. The only reason my college CDs are as damaged as they are is because the radio station was still using CD players for music you brought in instead of like network shares or stuff for MP3s. So I think you could access the residential network, but then you had to mess with a shared folder and what were your permissions. And there was, in 2001, there was a virus called the NIMDA virus that went around corrupting and destroying files on unsecured network shares. So it sucked. So there was a bit of a security issue with the college network admins wanting to be careful. Also, not allowing people to run on-campus answers to Napster around the time when people were getting sued for downloading MP3s. That was a huge issue. There's actually a tech guy that I went to school with who was trying to build a server to basically catalog everyone's MP3s, and people could search for songs to download and download them. And he got in a lot of trouble for that. What is this here? I remember that virus and Conflicker. Yeah, I remember the Blaster Worm. The stuff that got Windows made fun of as Windows XP Confessional or Windows 2000 Confessional and led to the Trustworthy Computing Initiative for Vista. But, so, here's the thing. I did most of the damage when there were no alternatives to listening to your CDs directly. Burnable CDs also, CD burners were expensive and unreliable around the time I could have started using them. I had one of those old blue bottom CDs burned with a lot of my favorite files from high school when I was getting ready to graduate. you had to go to the computer repair shop, the computer maintenance shop, which was post-grad only. No high school age people could take that course. It was like an A+ prep thing for computer technicians to get A+ certified. You had to go to the grown-up shop that worked on computers all day and ask the shop instructor for permission to use the CD player, to use the CD burner, to have a CD burned, and one of those students had to do it. And I found out years later why that was such a problem when the department head of the Computer Information Systems department at my alma mater told me about how he hated burnable CDs because how unreliable they were. It was very easy to get coasters and stuff, and I was like, with buffer underruns, things along those lines, and I'm over here like, well, how old is the equipment you're using? Because I'm using burnable CDs and I'm having no problems. And maybe his equipment that he was using was older. But yeah, Computer Information Systems, the head professor didn't like CD burners. I managed to get mine working. The thing is, there was a format war for burnable DVDs, so for the longest time, well, a couple of years, but it felt like it dragged on too long. I was using computers with a regular CD burner that did CD-ROMs, and then a DVD-ROM drive. You couldn't have one combo drive that did anything because there was a format war as to which burnable DVD was going to win. So I had double drive systems for years, even when I didn't need them anymore. I eventually had double DVD burners, and I was like, why do I still have two optical drives? We're long past the days where you had either a CD burner or a DVD or DVD playback. Now you can get both and DVD burning from one drive. So here's the thing. By the time I had reliable access to a CD burner, everything was digital, except for the radio station, of course. And so that's why, you have this thing where the college CDs are worse than the high school CDs. And most everything post-college, I mean, I played some in this before I figured out MP3 CDs. Actually, I think I started with this. Then I found out about MP3 CDs, and this was obsolete. Got these. Then I found out about MP3 players becoming more affordable, and these were obsolete. So I wasn't burning MP3 CDs anymore. Today's CD players are mostly two-handers. If you poke around Amazon, you'll find mostly two-handers that have extra features like RF broadcasting, low-power FM transmitters so you can broadcast them into your car stereo, even Bluetooth, so you can send them to a Bluetooth speaker. There are also CD players that have lithium-ion batteries in them, which I'm not so sure about, because we know those lose service life when they start losing service life when they leave the factory. So I don't still have a disc in any of these, do I? Well, at least I got the hinge kind of working again after this has been sitting around for over 15 years. Yeah. Neon colors. I don't know why. I always like this design better, but this doesn't play MP3 CDs. It's an old-fashioned CD player. Yeah. Today's ones, they have like big displays, light-up buttons, the whole 9 yards, and they actually double as they'll play SD cards full of music. You can basically use them as MP3 players. They're just basically bigger MP3 players. Some of them, you can even plug in like a smartphone charger to charge them up. I imagine there might be some ancillary use for CD players. Well, let's go to a split screen here, get smurfed for a bit. There might be some use for CD players these days if you can dig one up. But the thing is, everything a CD player does, digital music does better. And then if you have internet access, streaming music can do it as well. Let's see here. Can I log into eBay? Can I log into eBay without it being like, hey, log in, hey, log in? I want to stay anonymous. I should get a Tor browser or something like that. Looks like it's not doing it. All right, let's put this in. Let's look for Sony eBay Motors. Let's look for Sony Discman. Let's look for a Sony Discman. See if I can see what's on eBay here. Let's see. Browser mode. Web browser, link up to Chrome for the Sony Discman eBay search results. So let's see. Actually, let's crop the browser. Let's crop the web. Let's crop down the web browser to just show like what's in the middle. There we go, and just put it down here. Now, even if something does pop up, we won't. Let's keep an eye on that, see where it is. Oh, look at these. So, I mean, you can actually search for vintage Discmans. This one, however, This was it's cutting off the picture. All right, web browser. Alt. Bring this up a bit so we can at least see the tops of these things. So bring it up so you can see the top of. Let's bring it to like here so you can see the top of the listing. The Sony Discman D151. This was my first ever CD player, and you can find these things used on eBay. $30. What's the shipping on this thing? Free 4-day shipping. Shipping out of Indiana. Yeah, this is it. This is the one where the laser died, and my folks thought I broke it because I just. The thing is, portable CD players are supposed to be used on trips and things like that, or maybe once in a while. But I was using these things at home because I didn't have a boombox. So I would leave these things sitting on, like there. They'd be playing something hooked up to AC power instead of batteries, or maybe I just burned extra batteries and stuff. They're like, "Don't burn batteries. Where's the power cord for that thing?" I think this one came with a power cord. Yeah, this would just be sitting there playing something, and sometimes I'd have the cable going out. Eventually, when I broke the white Westinghouse one, I made that into a turntable so I didn't have to burn batteries in some of my portables. Yeah, there you go. The Sony Discman D151. No anti-skip. And unlike... what's the date on this thing? This one's 96. Yeah, it would have to be a late 90s thing because we're talking high school here. So, let's see. Yep, 2 AA's. Take 2 AA's in there. Yep. I even kind of remember what it sounded like and the beep that it would make. That was one of the fun things, though, by the way, with CD players in the 90s with electronics students, is they'd hook this up to a truck amp, and they'd blast rap through subwoofers, but they would keep the beep on, the Sony beep on. So they'd be bumping and thumping, and they'd restart the song, beep, beep, like high-pitched beep coming out of the subwoofer, and I'd be like, "What's the beep?" "Oh, it's a CD player." I'm like, "Can you turn that off? I mean, we just want to hear the bass." "Oh, I think so. I just don't feel like doing it." But, oh man, I'm so tempted to get one of these, but got to save some money for a bit and see how things go. Or hey, crowdfunded, I don't know. Of course, I'm the lazy ass over here that doesn't have the darn memberships turned on. Or you know what I could do? I could check the balance on Patreon, see if we've gotten up to around $30, and then make a video if folks approve of it. If the patrons approve of it, maybe just do some nostalgia purchase like that off of what's been coming in off of that stuff. Yeah, digital mega bass. Of course, and I didn't know bass from bass. I was like, "Oh, it has a fish in it, digital mega bass." "Hey, Dad, this Discman has a digital mega bass." "What?" He was more the fishing type than me. I was never good at fishing. And when I was 12, I gave up on fishing when I almost dumped half his tackle box into the river and then fell in the river trying to get the bobbers back. It's like, "Dad, I almost lost half your tackle." Why are you drenched?" "I fell in the river. I almost lost half your tackle." "You didn't need to do that. I could have bought more." Glad he wasn't too mad at me for that, but it was pretty embarrassing. Yeah, the Sony Discman D151. This is what I had first. How many more of these are on here? How many more? Why don't we just look for Sony Discman D151. See how many of these things there are and what the prices are for them. Ah, look at these. 23, 29. See which of these is in the best. Vintage Discman. Yep. Now, I was dumb enough one time I just popped it open. I just started with no disc until it said no disc. Oh, look at this one. This one even has the manual still. Yeah. I think I even called the helpline once when the laser was dying on it. Yeah, pretty scuffed. Of course, anything from the 90s like this is going to be scuffed. This is no way it isn't. Yeah, that one's pretty scuffed. They're all going to be scuffed. These are like Gen X and millennial teenagers we're talking about here, running these things into the ground if they're contemporary. Here's one with no headphones tested and working. Can't make the pictures bigger for whatever reason. There we go. See, probably because it's a smaller picture. I wonder if there are issues with no disc. Yeah, there we go. Well, yeah. I learned about skipping CDs the hard way. Oh, there's the Mega Bass. It had normal, mid, and max, so it wasn't like turn it on or off. It was you could I often use like the mid bass because the max bass would actually start distorting. And there was a limiter too. I forgot about that. Yeah, there's a volume limiter so you didn't blow out your ears. Of course, I was listening to this on the school bus, so I was trying to drown out the radio. Looks like the plate is gone on this one. Yeah, you can't tell from this picture, but the plate is gone. Dust on the inside. How long was this thing sitting around? The other thing, too, and I don't want this to get like the angry video game nerd trying to get like the Atari Jaguar or something, and then 3 of them aren't working. So, it is eBay. All right. So that was the Sony Discman D151. We look for the other Discman later. I did see the white Westinghouse in there though. Westinghouse CD player. See here. That's anything with a display is too new. It's more like 2000 stuff. I was kind of surprised when I saw it. I didn't think I'd recognize it again, but it's just the design kind of jogged my memory. What's this one? No, that one's not it. This is it right here. There we go. This is the one. So when the laser, let's see here, Alt. So when the laser died on my Discman, when the laser died on my first Discman, they were like, Jay. They thought I broke it because, I mean, my dad was contemporary to 8-tracks and cassettes. Records, 8-tracks, cassettes. He didn't really think of the whole thing where a little chunk of plastic could be as expensive as a CD player was, but be so prone to just wearing out so quickly, especially when I was listening to one of these like every single day on the school bus. Yeah, white Westinghouse, 10-second digital anti-shock. Mine might have had 20 seconds on it. I don't know. This might be the older one. The DASS was the bass button. And, yeah, power off, play, pause, back and forth. This thing only put like a 2-digit number. This only had a 2-digit number when it was playing something. The Sony definitely had better everything. Better display. The sound was better. The bass booster was better. There's repeat, enter. So this thing, let's see here. So this thing sprung open like that, probably faster than this one. Probably, no, it's about as fast as this. You slid your thumb. Oh yeah, we're getting into this now. You slid your thumb on the bottom and that flew open. Eventually it broke because these little hinges started getting, they just wore out and the whole cover snapped off. So if you can imagine this with no cover and a bunch of drafting tape wadded up and stuffed into this, so it would work without the cover on. That's what I played my CDs on in my room after this thing broke. And they got mad at me because they were like, you broke another CD player. And I was like, this is the Kmart brand. Kmart, going back in the day, baby. And I'm like, this is the Kmart brand. We got to get me back on a Sony. That'll last longer. So, yeah, but the thing is, yeah, old school volume dial. These could actually get scratchy over time. Headphones, it even had a line out. Looks like there was a punch out for a second thing of headphones like the newer ones have. Of course, you could take power in there. We bought yeah, so that's how I didn't blow batteries all over the place. Hey, there's bass boost. Oh, no. The DAS button, digital anti-shock system. Duh. Wow. Refresh my memory, why don't you? Yeah, so we had this, bass boost, always turned it on, but it didn't sound as good as the Sony because it had a toggle switch. It only had a toggle switch, so you couldn't put like a middle setting. So yeah, it took a basically 6-volt positive tip. We bought a Radio Shack adapter for it. Once the lid broke and I was using it as a CD turntable, I bought a Radio Shack adapter for this thing. Radio Shack adapter, and then the phones went out and around the back to the bookcase where I had the Radio Shack speakers inside the books. Oh, inside with the books for more bass. This was what I played music on in my room. The lesser sound quality wasn't as noticeable over little Radio Shack speakers versus, headphones. So after they got done being mad at me, plus also this took 4 batteries, I think. Yeah. Charge off. Do not charge normal batteries. It would actually charge like, the nickel cadmium. That's ones that they had back then. Let's see. Did they pop that open? White Westinghouse, Miami, Florida, made in China. 6-volt DC supply, battery supply, 4 times 1.5. UM3 or AA size. 4 AA batteries. This actually took more batteries than the Discman. So, yeah. But this became my turntable. We hooked up AC power to it when the lid broke, jammed something down there so it would work with the lid off, and I just never touched the lens. The other thing I hated about this was look how the lens is going out that way. Excuse me, going out that way. It's probably easier to touch the lens when the lens is coming at you this way and your hand's right here. So, either way. I'm so tempted to buy this, but I never really liked this thing back when I actually still had it. So it was more useful as a turntable because the sound wasn't as good. I just turned off the bass and had the bass boost come from the speakers instead. White Westinghouse. What other models were there? Looks like, you know, they still had similar one. What's this extended playtime? Is this a newer one? Dynamic bass boost CD compact player. This is too new. This is not working. Okay, someone's repair project. Pay $12 for a broken CD player. You see all these other ones that are rounder as we get into the 2000s, even the crapo Kmart brands. I'm surprised I don't see an Iowa boombox in here. Those were so popular. Half the darn people I knew had Iowa. Let me see here. There's also, however, Sears' Kenwood brand. Kenwood portable CD player. I knew somebody who had one. I was like, Kenwood? What is that? Oh, it's Sears. I'm like, oh, okay. Vintage Kenwood personal CD player. Don't know what you... This is the one I'm most... These are the ones I'm most familiar with. Take a look at this. Extra bass boost, etc. Dynamic shock proof, etc. 1998. Yep, this is contemporary. There's a guy with long hair that is a joker in high school. Then he went and joined the Marines. Showed up to the reunion, ripped with a high and tight haircut. It's like, salute, brother. Guy's awesome. Yeah, he had one of these, and he's like, hey, I'm listening to a CD. Don't shake the table. If you scratch the CD, you're going to buy me another CD. All right, how about we look for vintage Sony Discmans here, because I'm not too familiar with... Look at this Sony ripoff over here with this Kenwood. All right, let's look at Sony Discmans. Let me check through all the Sony Discmans, see how many I recognize. I had a friend in the church youth group who had one of these early block ones. Yeah, it is the older ones. Yeah, mega bass, like mid to early 90s. I don't know, her mother was really poor, so maybe she got it from a thrift store or something. Yeah. Yeah, I think the one I had was newer. Let's see. It's interesting, you know, probably another thing that caused a lot of our CDs to get scratched was when we were jockeying over who had the best anti-skip. So you're sitting there, someone would be like, boom, and be like, hey, don't do that. Didn't think for a second about, oh, well, what if you scratch the CD, It's like, really? Yeah, one of my friends in the church youth group had one of these old ones. It was a big block. There's some weird ones out nowadays, though. There's even one that looks like a kitchen scale or postal scale. Let's see if I find that one. But that's probably more on Amazon these days. Look at all these vintage Discmans. That's not the one I had. Kids Bop World Tour 2019. Wow. A Discman with stickers from 2019? What? Look at all these D151s, though. I'm kind of surprised. Why are there so many D151s? I know it's the one I had, but Discman car... Oh, here's one. Here's one I recognize, but this is the one I didn't end up getting. Steady Sound, electronic... This is the older one. I had the one that was better than this. So I saw someone in school walking around with the blue one, and I was like, oh yeah, the Sony Discmans actually look a little better these days. Here it is. Here it is. It even still has the sticker for the idiots. You put the headphones here. Anti-skip comps. Yeah, well, of course, nowadays, more modern CD players work more like CD-ROM drives, where they only read the data off the disc and fill the memory and then stop. But these were all like constantly playing and stuff like that. But yeah, we used to do that because you'd have people like me with no anti-skip on my Sony D151. Then I think I heard the TechMoan or one of the other CD player guys that makes tech videos about collecting CD players, portable CD players. He actually did, whoever it was, and I watched their YouTube video, talked about 3-second anti-skip. I'm familiar with 5-second anti-skip, 10 and 20 and 40, and then they renamed it afterwards. This thing had something cool, too. It had groove. This is the one that I had at the end of high school. I was fortunately, you know, smart enough to peel off the idiot sticker telling people, the headphones go here. But yeah, DJ, we used to have anti-skip competitions to see who had the best anti-skip on their CD player. Or you could just sit in the back of the school bus when it went over all the bumps. If you didn't get pulled up to the front, because people would jump in their seats when it went over a big bump, pretending they got thrown in the air, the bus driver caught on to that really quickly, and she'd order you up to the front if she thought you were messing around and horsing around or whatever. I almost said whoring around. I was like, no. Is this here? Oh, it's Velcro on the bottom. So somebody tried to Velcro it to their clothes or something. Or put it on the side of something. Yep, the DE451. Too bad it's got Velcro on it. I'd peel that off if I got it. Nice unit, too, though. Problem is, I had problems with the mechanism. It was having trouble reaching track. Well, the lasers started going out on it. It was having trouble starting songs, and then it was having trouble getting out to the later songs because something was up with the mechanism on the laser. But this thing was, this is the CD player I graduated high school with. After my folks finally got over the fact that I was a teenager learning how to take care of stuff, and that I was using these things every day, putting wear and tear on them, they finally, after the white Westinghouse didn't last long because it was cheaper Kmart crap, they went and got me another Sony. This one, I think, lasted longer because Sony was doing a promo at the time that was their, live, play, live, whatever it was. You could actually put in for a free CD player bag, and I've shown it on a couple of videos. I don't know if I still have it. I often use it as a camera bag, but I can't remember if I kept it or got rid of it in the Great Sift. But if I ever find it, I might actually use it for a CD player again. But camera bag, there was a Sony, it was Let Your Mind Play or something like that. But it was a free thing where if you bought a Discman, you could send in the proof of purchase and get a free leathery CD player bag with room for about 6 or 7 CDs. And that's what I finished high school with, is one of these and whatever my favorite CDs were, say maybe about 5 of them or something. I managed to jam in a 6th from time to time, in the bottom pocket. It was magnetic too, so I might still have it around here. If I find it, I'm gonna maybe put some of these CD players in it. Probably put the CD players in it for storage instead of leaving them loose in the bins. It is retro electronics at this point, and these actually work pretty good. But, oh man, so tempted to get this though. I just have to pick the one that's in the best condition and hope it still works. We're talking about a device that late 1990s, late 2000s, late 2010s, early 2020s, could be talking 25 years old, and it was portable technology, so you know that whoever owned this probably put some serious wear on it. But what is that one? It's the DE451 Steady Sound Electronic Shock Protection. I think it still continuously played the CDs though. I think it continuously played the CDs. I don't think it had the CD-ROM style where it would stop after it loaded up a buffer. So I think it was just constantly reading data. And that was the way I always liked it, was a continuously spinning disc that was constantly loading the buffer. You were listening to it and it was backfilling it. Occasionally it would glitch out. If it hit a scratch on your CD, it might glitch and make a weird noise, but at least you knew you had anti-skip. And so it wasn't the situation. It was basically you had 40 seconds to stop rattling the CD player before it would actually, do that stuff. Let's see. So even I figured out anti-skip wasn't that great, says DJ, or ever worked well. I don't remember what model I had, but it never worked well on trips involving bumpy dirt roads. First CD player I had was the Sony D151, no anti-skip, followed by a white Westinghouse that the lid snapped off of, so that had 10 seconds, and then there was this one. So, of course, there was the way to hold these things. You'd minimize the surface contact, kind of to try and keep it soft that way, so the bumps wouldn't travel through your arm and stuff. You just hold it like this the whole time, hoping you didn't throw it or something. But if you put the fingertips around the edge, I got this down to a science in school riding home. I was always in the back of the school bus. So I just be sitting there, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, basically. I think I thought I had a video on this channel somewhere where I'm doing this in the thumbnail, kind of showing the whole CD player thing. I don't know. I'm going to go digging through. Probably a 2016 like vlog video or something. I got to find that if it's still out there. Yeah, this is vintage. This is what, the DE451? Let's look for that one specifically. Sony DE451. Chase my adolescence. Vintage, steady sound tested, pre-owned. Oh, there's one. 18 bucks, buy it now. Interesting. Well, this one's actually on a kitchen counter. How scratched. That's the thing, you know. This is the CD era. Who knows where these things have been, and who knows if someone's not using stock photos of the item. This one looks like it's in good shape. This looks more in line with the way I'd take care of stuff. Because I didn't rattle it around all over the place. That's the biggie. This is my favorite of the bunch. Yeah, this is my favorite. This looks really nice. Yeah, and there was the volume limiter on the back. Yeah, April 2000. So the one I had was a little older than this. I gotta wait. I don't know why OBS is so slow. I see it on YouTube before I see it on OBS. I was grateful when I upgraded to an RCA Lyra MP3 player with 128 meg SD card. Yeah, I still have some really small SD cards around. I'm curious if they even still work. They've been sitting in the drawer for like 15 years. Regular SD, not SDHC. Oh, man. You know, some people chase after an old car they used to have or something. Am I really thinking of getting an old CD player back? Especially when I knew the last one died 20 years ago. Oh, there was resume mode too. So yeah, if you didn't take the CD out, it would drain the battery a little more, but it would save your position in memory, and then it would go back to the track when you turn the CD on and just continue. And we thought that was, there's even there's inline remotes and everything. Yeah, all these cool things. Line out. So that way the hiss from your headphone amp wouldn't go to your speakers. This is what the guys in my shop needed. Yeah. A line out jack. Yeah, so when they're blasting rap through by putting a portable CD player to a truck amp and then setting it to a woofer. Actually, there was a giant subwoofer, actually. Truck woofer. Yeah, with the beep on it, too. Oh, yeah. Great stuff. And it was in the back, so it could go out to, like, professional audio and stuff like that. Yeah. That was the problem with my old setup. What's this one going for? 25 bucks. The problem is that new ones have more features on them and go for only a little more than that. So, I don't know. Shipping. Oh, $9.85 expedited shipping out of Chicago, Illinois. So, just add another tenner to that. $35 is close to the price of a new one. That's the reason why, you might be having trouble selling this. And it's old. And it lacks a lot of very important features that have come out in the past 20 years. Yeah. Look at all this. Hey, there's the cord. Hey, there's the AC adapter. Jensen Universal AC Power Adapter for Walkmans, Discmans, etc. Yeah, we just got ours from Radio Shack. The adapter plugs. I still have one around here. It's a Radio Shack plug. It had a voltage regulator, so you could select multiple voltages, use the adapter plugs to flip the polarities, and it even had a pass-through, so you could plug something in on top of it and not lose wherever you plugged it in. It's really ahead of its time. Still have it around here somewhere. This is awesome. Is this going to be my midlife crisis thing? I want my CD player back, even though I never listen to CDs anymore. It is, I mean... It does seem kind of niche that we have tech video people on YouTube collecting portable CD players. But if you are getting into vintage technology, this is among the cheapest you can get into. If you're only talking like most units, even name brand units, going for like $30, $40. So you just do some digging around and stuff like that. So you can have a collection of these. They don't take up a lot of space, and just leave them somewhere where they're not going to get jostled around. I'm chasing down an XP era PC for some older PC games. That's cool. Why don't we check out some of the newer ones? Check out some of the fancier stuff that's out today. I mean, that's the vintage Discmans that I know about. I knew about Kenwood and, oh, actually, no. The Discman D4. I think, you know, there was a guy who was a teenager when I was a kid, you know, when I was a little kid, who had one of these. Here we go. The block. The big block Discman. Let's alt that back up. It's a Sony. This is the one I think from... Is there a date on this one? Applicable a date of manufacture. Press slightly in and slide the lid gently to the right. You have that option. It's so old. I have a Dell with XP on it. It works nice. This is an old one. This is the one I think I saw somebody... Yeah, and he was proud to have it too. If you had a CD player when everybody else had tapes, you were doing well for yourself. Never touch the lens. See here. What, you gotta pucker up for an old CD player? I'm trying to find a date on this thing. Do not short circuit the battery terminal. 6 volt, 1000 milliamp. What, does it have a battery pack or something? Is this a car unit? I've seen people carrying these around. Of course, who could forget the hold switch? Let's see here. Car ready. Discman ESP. Vintage 96 Sony Discman. D245. Pre-owned, tested, and working. Yeah, there's a lot of these things. There's a lot of these things out there. I guess, I mean, they don't take up a lot of space. They don't cost too much. You can compare the features on them with a decent set of headphones. You can see if they'll drive DJ headphones. You can compare battery life, if they even use batteries as opposed to a battery pack. I guess maybe there is some method to the madness of these portable CD player collectors on YouTube. Let's go to Amazon. Let's take a look at what's there today. Now, TechMoan was talking about, you know, TechMoan was making a big... Ooh, Nintendo Switch. I'm not logged in, right? All right. And let me see. Portable CD player. Let me just check a listing. It shouldn't be geolocating me or doing any kind of targeted ads with uBlock Origin. You got a GPX on this one. Let me just see. It says when it can deliver stuff. It doesn't show locations and stuff, right? That's cool. All right. Let's begin with the listings for portable CD players then. So let's see here. GPX, Grand Prix Electronics. So TechMoan was like, oh, I don't recognize the brand. GPX is a brand that's been around since the 90s. Grand Prix Electronics. Can't remember if they were good or not. Kobe, poor man's Sony. That's been around. That's a 90s brand. Where's the Jensen one that I saw earlier? There it is. It's a special edition, so it's more expensive. Excuse me. So it's more expensive. Jensen is another one. What's this? I haven't dealt with it. I've seen that Discman on a show, I think. Was it a retro show or something like that? Let me see. GPX PC332B. Select delivery location. No thanks. I'll send it to Alaska. See how high the shipping is if you're not Amazon Prime. Anti-skip, FM radio, and stereo earbuds. Oh, there's a source button on here, and you can actually see the buffer for the anti-skip. Oh, yeah. Well, this looks like this looks like a two-hander, sort of. Like you'd hold it, it's kind of like the RCA. You'd hold it and you just adjust the buttons, but then you'd have to keep going back to doing this. I think really the designs of these things kind of speaks to what device that they're trying to be similar to. These 90s style ones were probably trying to be similar to a Sony Walkman, which had all the buttons going along the side. And then these 2000 style ones, you could two-hand those things or just do this. Probably supposed to resemble an MP3 player a little more. Let me see what this one said if there's no disc. Can barely read the screen. Plus the buttons are half shot. Reading. No disc. It's actually quicker to detect that than this thing is. Thumbnail farming. 000. Does it still rattle the laser around? Yeah, it actually ticks a little. Listen to that laser. This one actually bumps its laser a bit looking for a CD. No disc. All right, let's try this again. Can't believe we're doing this on YouTube. Record that for a sound effect. That sounds like something. What does it sound like? It sounds like a slide projector. No disc. You think? It sounds kind of like a slide projector, though. All right, let's see this. Slide thingy opens up. Give me some pictures. Let's get some pictures on the screen here. Earbuds instead of headphones. That's how you know it's newer. The iPod generation has done their damage. 60-second anti-skip protection. Play, pause, stop, skip, da-da-da-da-da-da. Generic CD in it. Hey, disguise the fact that it's a burnable. I remember when I didn't know anything about CDs. I was like, if you play it upside down, does it play all weird? All right, Deluxe Products $20 CD player. The reason why you're not going to buy... The reason why if you just want a CD player, you're not going to buy one of those refurbs. Yeah, see, this is pretty generic. It's like a saucer almost. It's got all the buttons. What's this other? I don't know what P and M is. I think one might be bass and one might be like program or something. Little thing pops it open. Oh, wow music, greatest hits. Mom's Hits Volume 1. It actually takes burned CDs. No MP3 CD support, though. So this $20 thing is basically today's equivalent of one of these. Yeah. Mom's Hits Volume 1. Wow music, great hits for promotional use only. Hola Spanish 101. Audiobook Volume 1. Note, CDs not included. Mom's Hits Volume 1. What do we have here? This goes, I think it was a drama. Oh, a show as in TV. I thought you meant like went to like a trade show or something, or an electronics thingy or retro expo or something. GPX radio, that antenna is absolute junk, FM only. All right, what's this? Use the aux in your car. Yeah, hook it up to a guitar amp. Use old USB cell phone wall charger to power your portable CD player. Charger not included. Oh, that's right. Because it doesn't take batteries, right? Yeah, USB AC. It has a lithium ion in it, doesn't it? Happy Father's Day, happy birthday, the perfect birthday gift. Why won't it show the side of this thing? Phones, there's the AC port, but I can't get a good picture of it. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Of course, it shows right here, though, that it comes with a USB cable. AC USB power cable for use at home or in car. All right. Does it say if it takes batteries or not? 2 AA batteries, okay. Or you can power it using the included AC cable. You can even run it off a USB. Yeah, I suppose that would make sense, but Deluxe Products. Can it get any more generic than that? Oh, look at this Sony headset. Look at that. Yeah, these are the ones like what the radio station had, and they kept breaking. The things kept sliding off the edge. But yeah, this is why I picked these dumb things out. Yeah. That's why I picked these stupid things out. Because these are most similar. The one we had around here, this is like a generic Staples thing, but the ones we had around here were Koss. They were about this size. They were a little better than the little tiny headphones, but you know that was the only thing they had going for them. The problem I kept having with headsets, I kept breaking the cords. They kept ripping the cords out by accidentally bringing down my arm on the ones that came together down here. I'd find some way to accidentally do that for some reason, which is why I liked when I got the Sennheisers, where those actually unplug and plug back in like that. Browser mode. These old things. All right, that's one of the things just... Oh, somehow Amazon thinks you're going to buy 2 CD players and a thing of headphones for $53.79. So, Deluxe CD player portable Arafuna, portable CD player with dual stereo speakers, rechargeable CD player for car with anti-skip protection, Walkman CD player with headphones and aux cable. This is the frisbee right here. Hot CD903TF, portable CD player for car, etc. with Bluetooth, FM. Yeah, this one actually has Bluetooth support. FM transmitter, rechargeable touch button, backlit display, black. 10-hour playing time, 1,000 milliamp hour, so it has a lithium-ion battery pack in it. Bluetooth for cars. FM 107.9. So you could two ways to connect your... Oh, that's broadcasting on 107.9. That'd be too close to WAAF here, I think. Look at this. Of course, with Bluetooth, you can use wireless headphones on it. Yeah, I guess some people might use one of these days because they can Bluetooth to their... But why would you walk around rattling a CD in today's world? Lose control? What the heck? Hi-fi stereo sound brings you the best experience. That's something else altogether. CD player portable, rechargeable portable CD. And here we get into the CD boom boxes. That dying breed. Hey, Toshiba. So you can have a Toshiba boombox. Sony, I think it's one of the last ones left. Yeah, I remember these little... Look at this little Magnavox. Zombie brand, by the way. Different company. This Sylvania CD player looks like a Roomba. Yeah, I remember a bunch of these always being everywhere with their tinny-ass sound. The stuff like that inspired the Bose Wave Radio. Let me check out this Sylvania one. Obviously a zombie brand. Yeah, it looks like a Roomba with that design. Does it vacuum your floors? Looks like, and this is the thing too, this is an ODM unit. Original design manufacturer. So, you'll have a company, probably not one of these, because this is a Sony. You'll have a company manufacture something, and then an ODM will sell to the highest bidder for who gets the right to print their name on it, and then that's the brand name. And Sylvania, obviously not the same as the 80s TVs back in the day, or 70s TVs. It's probably a zombie brand. But this looks just like the one way up top. It looks just like this Deluxe Products one. It's literally the same design, but a different finish. And it looks like a Roomba. But I mean, how innovative can you still be with these things? Why would you want to be innovative? This Sylvania one. I'm curious if... Hold on. Remember how we did Polaroid Blu-ray back in 2010? Did Polaroid products ever put their name on a CD player? A DVD player? Technically that counts. CD player portable. Hot. Klim Discman. It looks like a Simon game. What is this? It just doesn't have any colors on it. Klim Fusion earphones, compact mini CD players, personal CDR, CDRW, and MP3, CD Walkman. It's a 2022 model, so it just came out this year. What is this? It looks like a Simon game without the colors, like beep, boop, beep, boop. You might as well just do that with it. And you notice how they're kind of short on off, hold, 5-volt DC, and charges off a USB-C probably. Oh, man. The problem with these lithium-ion things, though, is that you're gonna have to take it apart when the battery dies if you ever want to put another battery pack in there. So these are basically throwaway devices. I mean, this thing is this thing right here is about 20 years old. This thing's somewhere between 15 and 20. So I highly doubt these lithium ions are going to last that long and still be functional in 20 years. So that's probably like the bane of the people that collect these things, is that they're like, oh, I don't want one with a battery pack because we know those will lose service life even when they're sitting somewhere, because that's what lithium does. One of the problems with it. It's also a problem with electric cars, by the way. That's why they're always ticking time bombs when you're going to have the huge repair bill. Oh, here we go. Here's one that's not... Is this a special edition? Yeah, it's black limited edition series, but it's more conservative with the design. Here's the Jensen. Jensen is a brand that I remember from the 90s, but this is probably a zombie brand because of this right here. CD. You had to pay a licensing fee to use compact disc digital audio. So you're going to see this on it nowadays to get around that. Let's see here. It's a slider with a regular volume knob, I don't know if this would be any good. No wonder, TechMoan was complaining about this stuff. At least it's MP3 compatible. What else? Rechargeable portable CD player for car. Where's the one? This is it. $60. This is the one that is this it? No, this is the mono deal. This is the see-through one. Let's take Polaroid out of the search thingies here. Where's the one that looks like a kitchen scale? Oh, whoa. All right, here's a zombie brand for you. Studebaker. Because you should take a technology from the 80s and 90s, like portable CD players, and make it look like it's from the 50s. What were they thinking? Very robust, but it has the generic CD on it. Yeah, Studebaker CD players. There's a couple of these, too. They're all based on 50s colors and stuff. What do these go for, by the way? $40. Yikes. Also available in pink, black, and white. Well, oh, there's the one that's pink. All right, here's the pink one. Again, 50s themed. Looks like it belongs in somebody's vintage Chevy or something that you got to pump like crazy to get started because it's an old carburetor car. Tuner, preset, etc. Let me see the third one. Where's the black and white one? That one might actually look pretty good as opposed to vomit green and hot pink. Studebaker portable CD player. Is the third one out? I think this is there it is. This one I might actually $84. Gee, I wonder. Super Sport. This one looks spiffy. What's this here? The heck is that trying to look like a piece of tech from Fallout 4? The Studebaker, the vintage car brand. So maybe it is a reference to Fallout. Who knows? Yeah, but CD players are a technology that is very much anchored at the end of the last millennium, the 80s and the 90s. The portable ones, particular, are largely a 90s thing. So let me actually go to full cam and look up when was the first Sony Discman released. Sony Discman first released. Wikipedia. Do my moron research on this one. Let's see here. The Sony D50. Oh, 1984. All right. So 1984. So we'll say 80s and 90s like we've been saying all along. This is a technology firmly from the 80s and 90s, and they style it to make it look like it's from the 50s. What were they thinking? Because, when I look at something like this, I immediately think chrome. Looking like they used like aircraft grade metal and stuff to make it. And this one is obviously limited edition, so it's got scalper prices going on here. Only 3 left, or maybe it's a special edition. Super Sport, $84.50. That's more expensive than this was, not counting for inflation, of course. Speaking of which, how much did I get ripped off? I think I paid like $80 for this. $70 in 2003 is worth what today?
On the website in 2013dollars.com, they say $70 in 2003 is equivalent in purchasing power to about $107.94 today.
$107.
$107.94 over 15 years. Do you want a little more context?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Opens like that. It powers. I don't think it has a battery in it, though. I think it runs off of USB or regular DC, but I think that's a battery compartment on the bottom. And it has, the car edition has a magnet mount, so you can mount it in your car and play CDs at a horrible angle. What is this? And so you heat it up in the wintertime when you're running the heat, and you cool it down in the summer when you're running the AC. I see how it goes. It's all part of the circle of life. It's just maybe it is supposed to look like Fallout technology. I see this and I think like it belongs in some 50s car, but it's definitely like it's an anachronism. You don't take an 80s, 90s technology and make it look 50s. Sorry. Let's go back to just regular portable CD players. Not this Studebaker zombie brand crap. Hey, what was that? Oh, that... Talk about a zombie brand. Now, here's something that might fit in a Fallout game. There we go. There you go, DJ. Puke Green 50s style Studebaker portable stereo CD player with AM/FM radio cassettes. What are these zombie brands doing these days? These companies that buy the rights to these things. Studebaker. Studebaker, by the way, was the car in the Muppet movie in 1979. So that's how I'm familiar with the brand name. It's definitely before my time. Might even be before my dad's time too. Oh yeah. There we go. Yeah. Maybe I should play some Fallout and become more familiar with this. Oh, look, it has an LED display like an 80s thing. So they made it look 50s and then put a decidedly 80s red LED display, numerical display in it. Yeah, I see how that goes. This is hilarious and hideous at the same time. I could even say it has a little bit of 70s in it because my stepmother drove an Oldsmobile when she couldn't stop driving 1970s cold-blooded carburetor old V8 cars. I want to have a big engine in the front in case I'm in a car wreck. She eventually bought one of those old 1978 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme Puke Green. Forgot what it was called. The Brougham or something, I think. No, that was a Cadillac. She had a Cutlass Supreme 1978 Oldsmobile cold-blooded carburetor car Puke Green. It was obviously from the 70s when there was a little more experimentation going on with car colors. Let's go back to portable CD players before I go nuts. Studebaker. The Sudbury. Woo! There's a cube. If you want to paint it a little pink, and it will look like the companion cube from Portal. Wokalon. Portable CD player. Is that supposed to be like walk along or something? It's a Frankenstein monster of tech. Junhu. The hot one looks like a piece of rubber. Kobe is a brand I'm familiar with, but obviously we have another zombie brand here. It looks the same as the deluxe products one. So even Kobe, well, Kobe is a defunct brand anyway, so blister pack. Ah, yuck. Kobe. Yeah, this is $32. I don't think it supports MP3. Kobe was the budget Sony brand back when I was growing up. Someone obviously bought it since then. There's another GPX portable CD player. It looks kind of similar though, so it looks like GPX is a zombie brand too. Yeah, is this supposed to be GPX? Yeah, unfortunately. It's all the same. They just print different names on it. We're dealing with an ODM here. Well, okay, here's the one I was looking for. Wood grain, but a little too red. Ew, yeah, right. Wood grain, but a little too red to be wood grain. The top looks like it's made out of metal. And what does it look like when it's closed? Yeah, see there? Look under super anti... Yeah, here we go. It looks like a kitchen... It looks like a postal scale. Here you go. CCHKFEI. So it's wood grain, but when you close it, it looks like a scale. CD player. Dual headphones. Runs off a USB. Has an old school volume knob from the looks of it. Power, slider switch. Some silver buttons on the front. So what is this thing supposed to be? Give me that. So what is this supposed to be? Some bastardization of 70s wood grain meets 80s silver buttons? And a postal scale? Built-in... Oh, it's got a built-in loudspeaker. Gee, I can't imagine what that must sound like. In PCs, Gateway is back, but owned by another Chinese company I never heard of. Oh boy, more gateways. It's not fun unless they bring back the cow. Okay, they have an inline remote for that vintage, for that bastardized CD player experience. Oh, it looks like it's a little see-through. Oh, so it only looks like a postage scale when it's empty. What's this 12 one here? Indicator light. Oh, for when it's charging? Yeah. Play. Play, pause. Forward, next. LCD display. Blah, blah, blah. 3. Then we get to the Jensen's mono deal. What is this? Portable CD player with Bluetooth. They're trying to make it look like it's spinning a record? No way. Or is this some kind of turntable? Oh, no. They just put something in that looks like... Are they confused over what they're trying to sell here? Here's the mono deal. This is what I mean when I say that today's CD players are two-handers. Obviously, that's made to be used like a big MP3 player or something. Loudspeaker has to be tinny as heck. I'm sure it is. Oh, here's the one that showed me. Here's the one where I saw the other one. Doesn't say what the brand is because I mean it's an ODM. I think we're back. Oh, this is the other one again. What? Oh, here we go. Yeah, it looks like a scale. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Hey, how many grams does this weigh? Kobe, Magnavox. I know Kobe and Magnavox are and here's probably the last folks standing is Sony with these things. Some of these Sony things that are out here. And then we get into DVD players and stuff. That's what portable CD players have devolved to. And like I said earlier, and we'll just say again one last time as we wrap things up here. I dance on the grave of these things. These things were fun in their day when there were no other alternatives. But the minute there was another alternative, literally anything else you can do with CDs, burn them, play burn CDs, etc., was better than this. The bane of at least half of my music collection was these things or the technology of playing retail CDs directly. I don't miss it. I welcomed our new digital overlords when they took over from all of this. Who would be treadmill running with a CD player in their hand? Yeah, that too. Let's test the anti-skip. There's a Kids React video on this as well. Shout out of the day is going to be Vindalia, since we farmed drops off of her stream earlier, and she's featured prominently in 160p over here somewhere in the first chunk of the stream. But no, I dance on the graves of portable CD players. This technology was kind of like all we had, and that's the only reason it was any good. But really, if we could have skipped to digital, that would have been much better. Or if CD burners could have been more of a thing, that would have been much better. I'm sure there's plenty of scratched up secondhand CDs out there that have suffered way too much because of this technology that had its day, and that day is over. And that's not even talking about streaming music these days and all the options we have available to dial in a song and have it play. Instead of having to mess with any of these in the first place. I don't know. Maybe CDs will end up as some kind of retro format before I retire. Just like cassettes and vinyl wound up as well. All right. Thanks for stopping by, you folks. And, of course, the others who stopped by that just lurked as well. I now have 3 streams to go through and set up for the long haul, and I'd best get to that. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by. And I don't miss. If portable CD players are truly dead, I can tell you right now, I'm not going to miss them.